Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dover International Speedway round number 15 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. This one is set to be a barn burner. 200 laps around the Monster Mile, the 1 mile concrete high-banked racetrack. Tim Terry and Nim Cross here to call all the action for you. And Nim, these drivers are 43 strong, getting ready to take the green flag.
Yeah, 42 drivers actually taking in the green flag on the concrete mile today, and this should be a lot different, Tim, than what we're used to or we've seen in the last couple weeks. This high bank track is going to be very tricky for a lot of the drivers. We've been on some big speedways and some open tracks, but you know, the banking here at Dover, the tightness, the very fast speeds makes the wide track very narrow, and people could get themselves in a lot of trouble here.
If something is going to happen, it is more than likely going to happen really, really fast at this racetrack, especially with these blind corners as you come up off corner number 2, you come up off corner number 4. It's going to get very interesting very quick if something does happen. We want to mention as well, we have one pro driver making his way in, qualifying his way into this race. Landon Harrison, number 89, going to start in position number 11. You mentioned the 42-car starting field here, Nim. So there's a couple of pros that did not make it. Landon did, and he has a fairly good qualifying spot.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, we usually do have 43 drivers, but only 42 pit stalls at this track, so we only get 42 in this race. And, you know, one of the unique things about this track, Tim, is the fact that, you know, the banking is really high on the turns, but it also is pretty high on the straightaways. When you come up out of the turns, it's just like, you know, you said and I said this, that you do come up out of the corner. You come up onto the banking and into the straightaways, and then as you go into the corners, you drop down from the banking into the corners. So it's just very unique, and the guys right now are out there. They're working on their pit stops. They're working on getting around this track in preparation for the race.
And I've been told it's a very loose racetrack that these drivers are handling, especially early in the run. So we should see some very loose race cars when we throw the green flag here in about 3 minutes' time. Looking at the point standings, Ray Alfala looking to inch his way closer to that 10-5 check here this evening. Thomas Hazard second in points, and there's over 30 points in between those two drivers. So Ray Alfala looking to get a little bit closer. Thomas Hazard looking to make that just a little more difficult here in these final couple of races. Brad Wright in third, Brad Davies fourth, John Gorlinski in fifth, Derek Wood, Brian Schoenberg, Josh Parker, Tyler Hudson, and Josh Berry complete your top 10, with Steve Sheehan just outside in that 11th place position with 2 wins. So these drivers are looking to make up some points, and I know we'll talk about it throughout the evening as well, Nim. This is round number 15 of 18. We have 4 races to go, including tonight, and that top 25 position as well is looming big, and I know we'll talk about that a little bit more throughout the night as well, but we got a lot of heavy hitters down there looking to make an impact tonight. Yeah,
last season's champion having some problems down there. He's currently 1 spot out of relegation right now, so you know, he needs to make up 1 more spot if he wants to be guaranteed to be in this series next season, which we know he does. So a lot of work to do here today. Very difficult track. Anything can happen, and if a mistake happens, it could take out a lot of cars.
And when me and Brian Schoenberg were on Hot Lap last week, we talked about that top 25 bubble. You got guys that are in right now, like Brian Blackford, Patrick Vogel, Jeremy Allen, Florian Goddard. That's your top 25, or the bottom half of your top 25 when you include drop points. But then you mentioned them. You have Richard Towler, you have Richie Davidowitz, Jason Anderson, Jordan Erickson. There's so many good guys outside that top 25, but really when you look at inside the top 25, I'm not really sure who you knock out of that top 25 to be locked into next season. These next 4 races are going to be a telling tale of that.
That's right, and one of the reasons why these guys don't want to be in the bottom 25 is because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other drivers right now battling to get to get a Pro Series license, so they can fight to get in the last 25 spots, you know, for next season. So the competition that is going to take place just to get into the series next season is incredibly tough, and very, very tough. So, you know, they want to be locked in now. They don't want to have to go fight to get back in, where there are a lot of hungry drivers out there trying to get into the series.
And we talk about the likes of Jason Loafing, Jim Caudell Jr., Michael Conti, Dale Earnhardt Jr. There's so many drivers that are down there in that Pro Series that are going to be fighting for those 25 spots for the 2012 edition of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. That is going to be huge. Drivers are getting ready to grid on the pit road here, and we are just a few moments away from sending these guys off for 200 laps.
All right, starting out today's on the pole for today's race, you have Josh Parker, who qualified at a 22.482 second lap. Alongside of him in row 1 is Brad Davies, starting in the second spot.
Steve Sheehan starts the 6th in position number 3. Into the outside, 55, Brian Schoenberg.
Starting 5th will be Ray Alfala. Next to him, Chris Mayne.
Last season's points champion Richard Towler starts the 08 from 7th, and on the outside, 33, Brian Blackford.
Starting 9th will be Thomas Lewandowski, and starting 10th, Nolan Scott.
Pro driver Landon Harrison starts in 11th, and 12th is Thomas Hazard, 2nd in points.
Connor McKenzie starts 13th, and 14th is Derek Wood.
Florian Goddard right on that bubble position in the points, sits in 15th on the qualifying grid as the cars begin to roll. Patrick Vogel to the outside.
Joshua Lofton and John Prather go 17th and 18th.
Byron Daly and Pedro Mojica 19th and 20th.
Vinny Sansone and Jeremy Allen 21st and 22nd.
Chad Coleman 83, 92. Jason Anderson start 23rd, 24th.
25th and 26th goes Tyler Hudson and Steven Gilbert.
Justin Lowry will start 27th, 28th. Andrew Fayash the 3rd.
29th is Brad Wright. Charles Cosper 30th.
Richie Davidowitz 25 starts 31st, and 32nd is Greg Spears.
Jamison Speeds, Dane and Weimar go 33rd and 34th.
Jean Costa 96, 35th, 36th, Matthew Moose.
Jordan Erickson and John Gorlinski go 37th and 38th.
Completing your field, Josh Connors in the 15, Robert Hall in the 30, Jesse Atchison and Josh Berry going to start in provisional land back in the number 72. We are getting ready to go green flag racing. Pace car is off. Josh Parker and Brad Davies come up at a 4. They will see the green flag first, and we are underway at Dover.
Brad Davies spins his tires a little bit on that start, gets a little squirrely. That lets Josh Parker get a big jump going down corner number 1.
Big lead for Parker as you look back around Steve Sheehan. Sheehan trying to hold off Ray Alfala in the early stages.
These guys are very low on tire pressures right now. The tires are very cool. They're trying to get them up to temperature, and they're trying to hold on. They can be very loose right now, and this is a time of the race that they have to be very careful just to get sorted out. They don't want to mess it up, but it's still 200 laps to go, 199 to go from here.
And that was the buzzword this afternoon when I was talking to some of these drivers, loose. And I saw one driver there come off the corner, nearly bought the farm. That's Thomas Hazard, I believe, back there in the number 9, came off corner number 2. As you see him running right behind Chris Mayne. You watch that battle, Mayne up into the wall.
Yeah, Chris definitely got a piece of the wall there. And, you know, you can't be banging off the wall like that. And it's so easy to hit the wall coming off of these corners because it tightens up so much coming out of the corners. And when you do hit the wall, you can definitely damage your suspension, and that could ruin the setup of the car.
Just in front of Chris Mayne is Nolan Scott in the 06. What a season so far has Nolan Scott had, but he's fighting that race car here early. A couple of close calls to that 06.
Yeah, last week at Chicago, or 2 weeks ago at Chicago, Nolan blew a tire to bring out the last caution. He's hoping for a little better luck tonight. He's doing a pretty good job right now in the 9th spot.
John Prather making some moves early. Here comes the 91 behind him, a Byron Daly. It's Florian Goddard to the outside. Goddard in the number 4. He's hovering in that top 25 in the point standings. Can't afford a bad run as here comes the 91 now underneath the 45.
91 is there, Byron Daly. There's a big pack of cars from about somewhere around the 10th position all the way back to about 30th position. These guys are very tightly packed, just trying to get in line, trying to do well, you know, just to stay safe right now. And they're doing a good job not running into each other, but this track is so difficult when you get up there side by side with other cars. It is very hairy.
And here comes the 9, a Hazard. He makes the move on the number 38 of Chris Mayne, and Chris Mayne going to try the crossover, cutting in front of the 51 of Patrick Vogel. Connor McKenzie also back here, looking to make some early ground. It looks like Chris Mayne is falling backwards.
We have trouble on the back straightaway. It looks like a couple of cars together. We'll have to check it out.
So the caution flag flies for the first time as we have a couple of cars involved in this one, and I'm sure the drivers will need some work. Dana Weimer's pulling away from the scene, as is Richie Davidowitz.
Looks like the 25 car of Richie Davidowitz. It started right around him, and he got sideways while he was under the 92 car. Maybe took some air off of him coming out of corner number 2.
So a tough break for Davidowitz, and we talked off the top of the show where Davidowitz is one of those drivers, Nim, that's outside the top 25 when you look at drop points. Of course, these drivers, we talk drop points. They're allowed to drop 2 races when we come to the end of the season. They're allowed to drop their 2 worst finishes. And when you factor in those finishes right now, Richie Davidowitz, outside the top 25, he can't afford to have a bad run here.
Yeah, that's right. It is so tough, and he's running back there, and we look at it, and he's running back half of the field. But that back half of the field is probably stronger than any race that we could imagine. So he has missed 1 race by now, but he'll use that as his drop week. But he has struggled in his rookie season here, and maybe he'll look to be able to get going better here as the season goes along.
So as we work under caution for the first time on lap number 8, Josh Parker leads Brad Davies, Steve Sheehan, Ray Alfala, and Brian Schoenberg, your top 5. And right now we're watching a full field of 42 cars, Nim, on this beautiful Dover International Speedway.
That's right, and we are watching right now the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, and this is at iRacing.com. And if you're wondering what you're looking at right here, these are 42 drivers who are sitting at their home PCs racing each other, and all these drivers are from their locations, from wherever in the world they may be, and they are taking part in side-by-side, head-to-head competition, rubbing fenders with each other, utilizing the iRacing.com software. So you can be involved. Anybody can be involved. Anybody who has a computer and the passion for racing can be involved. So go ahead and visit www.iracing.com. And if you're not signed up, you can sign up and test us out for purchase 1 month and get 2 free. So you'll get 3 total months for the price of 1, and that'll give you plenty of time to test out iRacing.com to see if it is for you. But a lot of good racing here at iRacing, and these drivers right now in head-to-head competition, you could be a part of it.
And they're getting ready to go back to green flag racing as well. The nice thing about this Dover International Speedway, the cautions are fairly quick. The pace car lights are already out. We work down the back straight away. We will go back to green flag racing with 9 laps completed. Josh Parker will start side by side with Brad Davies, Steve Sheehan, Ray Alfala, and Brian Schoenberg. Your top 5 in Schoenberg will line up beside the 2010 titleist Richard Towler in the 08. Pace car is expected to make that hard left-hand turn off the bank and down onto pit road. There it goes. Parker had a fantastic start, the first start of this race. Let's see if he can get one on the first restart of this event. Green flag is going to be up here as we put the hammer down again, and Parker, what a great start by the 81.
Yeah, Josh being the pole sitter, he determines when they start. He's getting a good jump. Brad Davies follows right down there in the second position, and that's pretty much what he wants to do right now. He just wants to follow in line and ride from this point in the race. And we saw that last time in Chicagoland, where Davies is willing to ride early on. He's up there in a good spot. He knows he doesn't have to put any pressure on anybody right now, and he'll just ride and put some laps in right now, and he'll take it to him at the end of the race.
Tom Lewandowski in the 16 falling back a few spots here on this restart, stuck to the outside line, and it looks like at this point, Nim, right now, at least at this point, as these drivers are fighting loose conditions on these restarts and cold tires especially, it looks like the high line not the place to be. It looks like you really want to be down low.
Yeah, you definitely want to be down low, and you need to be handling well, because if you're down low coming off the corner, if you push the car, if you have some understeer coming up off the corner, then it's easy to get into that wall. We were talking about Lewandowski losing some positions. Gorlinski did a good job missing that last wreck, but he's way back in the pack too. And since we had the new tire model come out, which came out a couple of races ago, those two guys have been running really well, and they've been pretty much the class of the field, or right up there in the last couple of races. They seem to be struggling here at Dover a bit.
Looking mid-pack right now, Brad Wright, Vinny Sansone, John Gorlinski. You mentioned Gorlinski, good on the new tire model, and there's a lot of drivers, Nim, that you can throw in that blanket as well. How about Payne, a driver that's really been rejuvenated on this new tire model? He's up to 10th place right now. There's a lot of guys that really like this brand new tire that's been put out by Dave Kamer and iRacing.
Yeah, iRacing is always improving. They continue constantly continue to develop the product. It is never finished, and as we go forward, it will always be evolving. So gets better with time, and we took a big step here in August to bring out the new tire model, new physics engine, and you can see these guys battling hard on it right now.
And speaking about pushing forward, Ray Alfala is pushing forward and looking at Josh Parker now for the lead, about a half second in front of him as he just made the pass on to Brad Davies. Derek Wood has picked up the 8th place position over Nolan Scott, moves Scott back to position number 9, and it looks like Thomas Lewandowski finally has his grip underneath the number 16. Lewandowski looking over the 06.
Everybody kind of single file right now. They're putting in laps. They're just trying to get a feel for the cars. You know, this is the first race that they've really had at this track under this type of racing conditions. You know, every week we run, each series has, each NASCAR series runs at a different track, and we have visited Dover before, but not on this tire model and not really with these cars. So these guys are really getting their first taste of competition in such a big field on these cars, and they're running long distances. So they're really just trying to get their setups worked out to see what kind of tire wear they're going to get, and just trying to settle in for the first half of this race so they can know what they need to do for the second half.
Josh Lawton in the number 40 back here, and it looks like Tyler Hudson falling back on the outside line. Here comes Gorlinski, here comes Pedro Mojica, and the 72 of Barry. Barry started dead last in this field, and he's already up well inside the top 25 and trying to get up here in this top 20.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those drivers that are a contender every race. Right now, Mojica to the inside and makes that pass, and now Barry's looking his way underneath of, I believe that's Hudson going down the front straightaway, and he'll pick up that spot also.
So Barry will make the pass on the 01 and will look up and try to make a few positions on the drivers in front of him, but it's easier said than done, especially in a field like this. In front of Barry, Pedro Mojica, you have John Gorlinski and Brad Wright in 19th place. A lot of stout talent.
Yeah, that's right. Jordan Erickson right now working his way by, I believe that's a car, Justin Lowry, up there on the outside. He's picking up that spot. That's a battle back there for about the 23rd, 24th spot.
And you see guys back here running like Greg Spears, Chad Coleman. These are drivers that really need a great run to rejuvenate their season. We saw Jordan Hightower last week grab a top 10 as you ride on board with Patrick Fogel around this concrete racetrack. If drivers like that can get a good finish, it can really give them some momentum for the second half of this season.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know, we're actually getting in the last quarter, maybe, you know, of the season. We're getting down to it. You know, 4 races to go, including this one. After this is 3 races to go. You have 2 drop races. It's time to do what you're going to do right now. But in this race, you know, we're riding here a little bit until we get to the second half of the race. And one thing we're going to have to deal with soon, being that this is a 1-mile track, it's so fast, we're going to be dealing with lap traffic here at some point, and that should mix things up a little bit. But this field is very strong right now, and it is about 14 seconds back to from the first to the last place car right now. But Parker is going to be dealing with lap traffic here shortly.
Looking at Derek Wood right now, looking to make a pass on Brian Blackford in the number 33, trying to complete that pass, and that would be for position number 7, just behind Richard Towler in the 08.
Yep, Towler having a good run up there in 6th position right now. He's been snake bit all season long. He's been having problems, but right now running in the 6th spot, very safe position for him. Hoping to get some points to get him up in that relegation spot.
You look back at the 54 of Derek Wood. Derek Wood runs in position number 8, and just a note as well, Richard Towler has had some hardware problems here in the last few hours, Nim, and usually when you have hardware problems, you do everything to resurrect that problem. We're being told that Richard Towler is racing on a TV instead of a monitor this evening, so a little bit of a different scenario for him as we have caution.
That's right, the caution is out. That is, you know, it's a quick fix. It's not the best thing that he wants to be racing on, but hopefully it's a good quality monitor television, and he's able to use it well. But right now it's not affecting him too much running up in there in 6th spot.
92 goes around to Jason Anderson, and he had a little bit of help from Matthew Moose as he tried to collect it into the wall. Matthew Moose just really nowhere to go in the number 14, but into the back of the 92. So tough break for Jason Anderson. He'll have a long way to go to get back to where he was running, just around that 24th place position, just inside the top 25.
Yeah, it looked like Jason got a little squirrely coming up off the corner, and you know that when you come up off of these bankings onto the straightaway, you come up over a hill, and when your car crests, it can very much lose it. You know, the suspension can get very out of sorts, and it seems like that's what happened to him. He got a little out of shape coming off of the corner when he crested over the banking there, and the car back up and couldn't check up. And when you get hit here, Tim, you're in trouble because you know there's just self-cleaning banking, and you just go straight down the hill right into the wall.
This is where pit strategy comes into play. Ray Alfala is down on the pit road, and everybody about 9th on back, minus a few drivers, are on pit road. So there's probably about 10 to 12 drivers that stayed out on the racetrack here to get track position. Everybody else is on pit road. Ray Alfala already down and away.
And there is, a bit of right front tire wear at this track, so they got to be mindful of that. And these guys that have pitted, here on lap number 27. They're going to have good tires on that right front corner, and that's going to be a good benefit to them. They will be able to make passes being on those fresh tires. And Josh Parker and Davies and these guys leading out front here, 27 laps is a significant amount of fuel. They're hoping for another caution before they have to make a green flag stop. And I'm figuring probably about 60, 70 laps before they're going to want to make that green flag stop.
And looking back here at this pit stop, you mentioned the right tire wear, Nim. The 33 among those that did come out first on pit road just took 2 right side tires, so it looks like the lefts definitely not wearing as much as the right side tires here at this point.
Yeah, lap 27 here, and we already had a caution previous to that, so we only had about 20 laps on the tires. It's a good time to test that theory to see if 2 tires are going to be good enough, and they probably will be. The left sides seem to not be wearing as much as the right sides right now, so they'll probably be a good job to get those 2 tires on to see what they can do.
So now your top 5 just a little bit different. Josh Parker, Brad Davies, Steve Sheehan, Brian Schoenberg, and now Chris Main. In your top 5, Patrick Fogel has scored in 6th, John Prather in 7th. Then you have drivers that pitted, including Ray Alfala, Brian Blackford, and Derek Wood, completing your top 10. So it looks like, to me, we have 7 drivers on the racetrack that did not come down pit road. I guess we'll see how the new tires play in to a little bit of strategy here when we throw the green flag in a couple of laps.
That's right, Ray Alfala, your point leader. He's got to be careful. He has... a 34-point lead right now, 35-point lead, and it's great that he has that, and it's a very comfortable position. But he could lose it all here today with any type of problem. So he's got to be careful. He's running up in the 8th spot right now, looking good, and he's been good all season long. But he's got to be really careful here at Dover.
And it's easier said than done, but Ray Alfala, if you go in with the game plan, finish in front of Thomas Hazard, there's no way you can lose that first place position. Right now, Thomas Hazard is running in position number 12, just a few positions behind Ray Alfala. And if you see a lot of that Pro Geek Consulting in front of you, if you are Thomas Hazard, you really got to get away from that. You got to get ahead of that and start gaining these points here in these final 4 races. As you mentioned, him over 30 points behind, and when you look at that, that's over 30 positions, not counting bonus points. Pace car lights are off. Next time by, we're going green.
We'll go green on the start of lap number 30. So 171 laps at that point to go. And we will probably be looking at least 2 more stops from here, even for the guys that pitted. That probably be looking at 2 more stops also, but it will be real interesting to see those guys on new tires, how they fare against the guys running up front right now.
So keep an eye on your leaders and keep a half eye on what's going on, let's say around 8th place. Ray Alfala, Brian Blackford, and the likes who came down pit road. Top 7 did not pit under this caution flag as the pace car pulls on to pit road. Josh Parker will lead us back to the second restart of this 200-lap event at Dover, and once again, great restart for Josh Parker. Green flag flies.
Yeah, Parker saw Davies laying back just a little bit there on that restart, and as soon as he saw that, he took off, which snookered Davies just a little bit. And Davies has been struggling on the restarts just a little bit also with spinning those rear tires, which we saw him do again right there, but he's able to get it back in the second spot, and he's able to get rolling.
Hello, Ray Alfalla. Alfalla picks up a few spots now, and it should put him up around the 5th place position when the scoring does loop here. Indeed it does. 5th place for Ray Alfalla. Schoenberg pushes up the racetrack in front of the 2. Here comes Ray Alfalla to the inside of the 55. Battle for 4th down the back.
Alfalla, your championship leader right now, is the man on the move from 7th up to 4th in just a matter of a lap.
And he'll be looking for a bit more, but he does have some real estate to make up before he hits a TaxSlayer.com car as we work in corner number 1.
Everybody getting sorted out again. There's guys back with fresh tires, looking all over the guys with older tires here, trying to make some moves, but they're trying to get sorted out first so they get single file so they can make safer passes.
Thomas Lewandowski pitches that car hard on the inside of Brian Blackford in 33. Oh, coming down the track, Thomas Hazard trying to get that line underneath the 33 as well. Close quarter racing, he makes contact. 9-car around off the 08.
Yeah, it looked like Tyler got in down in the corner a little bit too hot, and you kind of see it coming. Hazard checked up there, and it looks like Tyler just didn't see it and ran in the back of Hazard, and that's big implications there for the championship.
And when we look at this replay, Nim, it really starts back off corner number 4. Thomas Lewandowski makes that move on Brian Blackford. Blackford hears the spotter say clear. He goes down low, but Hazard goes down low at the same time. Blackford really has to realign his thoughts. Hazard puts that car in down low, and then Richard Towler, looking to make a spot up as well, gets into the back of the number 9. So a lot of things happening there with those 3 cars in a matter of a half lap or so. And sparks fly and the caution flag flies as well as we work lap 34.
Yeah, they were diced pretty good. It's kind of weird though. There was quite a bit of distance between Hazard and Blackford, and then Tyler came in pretty hard and just got into the back of Hazard. So Hazard around 2nd place in points, in trouble right now on lap number 33.
So Josh Parker leads Brad Davies, Steve Sheehan, Ray Alfalla in 4th, and Brian Schoenberg complete your top 5. We're going to take this opportunity here to step away for just a few moments' time, and we will be back for the restart of this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship event at Dover. You're watching round number 15 of 18. Don't go away. And welcome back to Dover for round number 15 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Tim Terry and Nim Cross here to call all the action, and we should be back green flag racing the next time Josh Parker hits the stripe, as we will begin lap 37 here. We will go green on lap number 38. It is Josh Parker, and he's led wire to wire so far in this event. Brad Davies second, Steve Sheehan, Ray Alfalla, Brian Schoenberg, your top five.
Ray Alfalla up there in the fourth spot. He's your point leader. He got on the last restart. He was able to pick up about 3 spots within a lap. We'll see if he can do that again on this restart. But Alfalla, your point leader. A big break received from that last caution flag as Thomas Hazard found himself up in the turn 2 wall. I'm sure Alfalla's crew has let him know about that. And maybe that will change his race strategy, Tim.
Thomas Hazard, the last time by the line, was 39th place. So there's a lot of positions in between, and that 30-point lead could very well grow into, let's say, a 50-point lead by the time this race is over. But, of course, this race is not over. We are on lap number 37. Still a long way to go in this race at Dover. Pace car is in, and the 81 of Josh Parker going to put the hammer down one more time. We are back underway, and Parker going to lead this field down the front straightaway.
Parker gets a big jump, as he always does, but the battle is for the third position. Davies gets the second position. That's Ray Alfalla, your point leader. It doesn't look like he's taking it easy here, Tim. Up into the third spot now. Trouble back in turn 2.
Trouble off turn number 2, and we're going to stack up a bunch of good cars.
Looks like Justin Lowry got turned around coming off of turn number 2. Him and the 80 car made some slight contact, and that sent Lowry up into the fence. Collects the 83 car, and a number of cars getting involved going down the back straightaway.
So the 66 and 80 make the contact to bring out the yellow flag, and the 66 went hard into the wall and came down the racetrack and really nowhere to go for a lot of these guys. Oh boy, big hit for Chad Coleman. Greg Spears gets airborne. The 14 is in this Jean Costa 96. I believe Dana Weimer may have got a piece of this as he went through. Andrew Fayash and Thomas Hazard. That's the... when you're back there and you see everything happen in front of you, you really have to be on the ball. Thomas Hazard coming up out of that corner, no contact made, but he had to slow his pace down to get through that incident and all the spinning cars.
Yeah, when the 83 car got clipped as he went by, that turned him back up across the track, back into traffic, and that collected up a couple more cars. So Coleman's car really in bad shape right now. The 14 car, Matthew Moose, also and heavily damaged. Greg Spears also heavily damaged, and those guys really had no place to go. You know, they're trying to miss the wreck. These coming up off of turn 2, it's very narrow, and you know, they thought they had it missed, but another car got clipped and sent back across in front of them. But a lot of guys did a really good job of missing the wreck too and getting slowed down.
So coming up off the corner, a lot of drivers involved, and I'm sure there will be some repairs down on pit road to be made with these race cars. Josh Parker has led since we dropped the green flag. He's going to complete 40 laps right here. When do we see Parker down on pit road, especially seeing Ray Alfalla fly through this field with those new right side tires?
You know, it's a good question. I would have thought that they might have come in by now, but you know what? Since they didn't pit when most of the field pitted before them, and they're still out front, they're going to want to wait until all those guys who pitted get a lot more laps on their tires. So when they pit, those guys behind them will also be wanting to pit also. They don't want to pit right now because if they do, they know the guys who already took on tires aren't going to pit, and that's going to put them midfield. So what the strategy might be now, go 20 or 30 more laps, make your pit stop, and hopefully at that time those other guys who already pitted, they're going to want to pit also because they got some wear on their tires. So right now, I think Parker's going to be out front for a while.
We'll see how that plays out when the green flag flies. Ray Alfalla in third, And with that incident there, it moves the number 9, Thomas Hazard, albeit he was on pit road, moves him up to 32nd place right now. So Hazard gaining some positions there, and he'll continue to likely gain positions if he can stay out of the trouble. And I've said it before, there's a lot of things that are easier said than done here tonight, and that's one of the keys to the race. Stay out of trouble and survive to get to that quarter distance to go in the race. Say lap 150, get there first, and then see what you have for the win.
Looks like John Costa, a very heavily damaged car. He's been fighting all race, trying to keep his, trying to stay on the lead lap, go around and pit, fix the car a little bit, come in, go out and try to stay around. He stayed on the lead lap. His car is very heavily damaged, as we see it out in the track right now. But the more work they do to it, the better it might get. So everybody right now trying to do their best to get their repair work done under these caution flags so they can be in better shape for the end of the race, as Josh Parker gets the 1-to-go sign before we go back to green.
See a lot of guys moving up through this field. I see Patrick Fogel has made his way into the top 10. He sits in position number 7 right now. Brad Wright sits back in position number 13. Jeremy Allen sits in 15th. Josh Berry, after starting dead last, is up to 14th. There's a lot of guys that are methodically picking off positions that might very well be a factor here before the end of this evening. So watch those guys as they try to make their way to the front of this field. Pace car will duck off here. 42 laps will be completed when Josh Parker does take the green flag. The 81 getting ready to put the hammer down again, and he has been flawless so far on these restarts. Here we go again. The 81 going to lead him down to the green silk, and here he goes. Green flag flies.
Parker gets a good run again. Davies does a better job not spinning his tires, but Al Fowler wants that spot. Al Fowler has been making quick work of everybody on these restarts. 2 restarts ago, he was in the 7th place, and now he's up to 2nd. Your points leader is now going to challenge Parker for the win. Lead.
Davies makes a crossover, but nothing doing there, as the number 2 of Ray Alfala continues to close in on Josh Parker in the number 81. Parker has led since we dropped the green flag 43 laps ago.
Well, we can't accuse Alfala of laying back or not pushing, because he's made up a lot of spots now up into that 2nd place from mid-pack. And you know what? It's a smart move, because up front you're not going to be in as much trouble as you would be back in traffic. And we saw at the last caution flag, a car loses it, there's a crash, and there's no way to go if it happens in front of you. So the best way not to have it happen in front of you, be up in front of the pack.
We talked about drivers on the move. The 08 of Richard Towler now in the top 10, as he has Brad Wright just behind him. He's got Patrick Fogel a couple of positions up, Brian Blackford and Josh Berry. So guys that are on the move, and here comes Wright on the move on the back of the 08 of Towler.
Looking from the rear bumper, Towler back on Brad Wright. Brad Wright right now looking to get up into that 2nd spot in the championship series. Right now he's 3rd, but Hazard having some problems. So Brad Wright running in the 11th spot right now, looking to take over that 2nd place.
And Brad Wright in that number 48, we mentioned he won a race earlier this season. He's had a fantastic rookie season. As you look at the 16 and 54 right now, Thomas Lewandowski and Derek Wood, and they have Schoenberg and Chris Main just in front of them. 4-car battle for position number 5.
The 54 car of Derek Wood does have fresher tires on right now, so he's looking to challenge Lewandowski going down the back straightaway. Right now, Towler looking to the inside of Fogel as they go down in corner number 3. Fogel's having none of it and shuts the door.
Towler looking to pick up that 9th place position as Brad Wright closes in as well on the number 48. 51 has had a great race so far this evening as you ride on the roof of Richard Towler. Just behind them, Barry may have got into the wall. John Gorlinski makes the pass in the 72.
Yeah, Barry did get very loose coming off of 2. Did a couple tank slappers back there, and that let Gorlinski get by, but it was a great save coming off of 2 that last lap.
54 makes a pass on the 16 at Thomas Lewandowski. Now he will look up in front of him and see Brian Schoenberg in the number 55 Schoenberg runs in position at number 6 as we come up 50. Laps are completed here.
A quarter of the way through the Dover 200 here in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Right now, Josh Parker is your leader. He's got a 0.779 second lead over Ray Alfala, who is your championship leader. Right now, Brad Davies running in the 3rd spot, but we can't count Davies out, Tim, because Davies hung back all the time last race, but was up there at the end of it to challenge to take the win.
You look back at the 08 of Richard Towler, and Richard Towler, these last couple of laps, Nim, has been really driving that car, just diving that car into the corner, hoping for something to stick in that 08, and it hasn't been working. Now he falls back into the clutches of the number 48 of Brad Wright, as Brad Wright looks to make something happen to get into the top 10.
Yeah, Towler's got a little bit of damage on that right front corner, driving it very hard. And as you drive it down here and you smoke it down the corner like that, you could take some risk of burning up that right front tire as the 21 car of, I believe that's Gorlinski, does get around Brian Blackford right there. So Gorlinski moves up into the 12th spot, and now Barry challenges Blackford for that 12th spot.
Gorlinski, definitely a driver that is on the move, and he'll be up in just a few moments' time, I would say, on this battle that's sitting right now for positions 9, 10, and 11, as Towler dives that car hard in, as you ride on board with one of these drivers, and you see how hard it is to drive around this Dover International Speedway.
Yeah, very tough as we ride in car here with Brad Wright looking at Towler as he's looking at the inside. Fogel coming off that corner, but you see how it tightens up as you come off of the corner, then go down into turn number 1. Kind of widens out. You got a nice real wide corner, but then you got to work your way car down the bottom to come back up off of the corner where it's really narrow in this racing group.
Battle just up in front of them as Schoenberg and Derek Wood, also Chris Main in this battle. That is 5th, 6th, and 7th place as they battle for position. And just riding right now for some of these guys, hoping the drivers in front of them really make a mistake. At this point, you really don't want to push it as we're just past that quarter distance mark.
Towler very loose coming off of corner number 2 right there. Brad Wright right under his rear wing. That got Towler loose, and he had to really gather it back up to save it. Right back down to the throttle and gave him the opportunity to do so.
Fantastic battle for position. Brad Wright makes up the spot on Richard Towler, and now he will try to reel in that 51 of Patrick Fogel, and as these guys battled them, it let Fogel run, but here comes John Gorlinski now. Richard Towler may not be done falling positions as he's got a freight train stacked up behind him.
Yeah, Gorlinski must have heard us talk about how he's struggling this week and how he's been doing good on the new tires. Maybe he's not struggling. Maybe he just had a little bit of a slip in his qualifying lap, because he is working his way to the front up to the 12th spot right now, just trying to methodically work his way to the front. He may be there by the end.
And that was the 4 of Florian Goddard, who just went 1 lap down, as here comes Gorlinski now looking on the 08 of Richard Towler. He's there, and it's going to open the door for this freight train behind him. Here comes Brian Blackford in the 33.
Yeah, they make their way by Florian up there. Florian's car looking a bit worse for the wear, as now Gorlinski looks to the inside of Towler going down the corner number 1. Gorlinski has the position on Towler. Towler's going to back off now. Brian Blackford works his way to the inside of Towler. Towler really struggling here in the mid parts of this race.
Josh Berry clears the 08 of Richard Towler, and Towler finds a place in line right here as Tyler Hudson exchanged positions with the 10 of Connor McKenzie, as the 08 will stop the bleeding for the time being right now, Nim, back in 14th.
Yeah, that right front quarter damage on that car right now, the fender damage, that may be a problem, and that's probably messing up the aerodynamics on that car. He's got a bit of a push on that car, and now Hudson is going to be looking to make his way by, but Towler able to pull away just a bit coming off the corner last time.
Battle for 6th is non-existent right now as Schoenberg takes the position back to 7th. Derek Wood moves up to 6th, and now Derek Wood's looking to take it to position number 5. Here comes 54 on 38 as they battle for position number 5.
Yeah, it looks like Schoenberg's car's got a little bit of push in it, and is now Lewandowski in that Team Wrangler car is looking to work his way by Schoenberg, but Wood right now putting the pressure on Main as they go down the corner number 1.
Chris Main trying to hold on to the 5th place position. 54 of Derek Wood all over the back of his Chevrolet Impala. Now looking down low. Great run at a 2 for Derek Wood and move him up into 5th. Here comes Schoenberg. Schoenberg has to put the blinders on.
Schoenberg wanted that spot, but Main was only letting one car by. He didn't want to let Schoenberg by also. And Schoenberg tried to dive it down in there, but Main slammed the door closed.
Oh, might have a little contact here between 38 and 55. 55 is Schoenberg. Wanting to get past the 38. It looks like the 38 may be falling off a little bit. Here comes the 55 of Schoenberg. Looking down low. Contact made. Schoenberg into the wall.
Yeah, Main just slammed the door on him right there. And, you know, Schoenberg may have had position and may have had room for the line going down to that corner. But Main just didn't want to give. And Schoenberg had to lift and Lewandowski up in the wall. But Schoenberg is done for the day. His car is too heavily damaged. That's done.
And it might be something to look at of how much damage that 16 has to Thomas Lewandowski. I tell you what, the Wrangler cars have been coming on that last run, whether it was the 16 or whether it was the 21, they were coming and coming in a hurry. So we'll have to see how bad the 16 is damaged, as it looks like he will come on to pit road, as well as most of your drivers in the front. Here comes Josh Parker for the first time this evening. He may surrender the lead here.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Who stays out and who doesn't? It looks like pretty much everybody's coming down pit road. So Parker and the guys up front played it perfectly, as those guys who pitted before are also coming down pit road with him. And Parker should retain a lead. If not, you know, he'll be within the top couple as they come back out. And that's very important because they don't want to get stuck back in the pack right now.
So Parker looking to make something happen here on pit road. The Suave for Men Chevrolet taking 2 right side tires. Is he going to opt for 4? Yes, he is, and he will lose the race off pit road. Tom Lewandowski gets off first, and it looks like Parker may be outside the top 5 here.
Yeah, not a very good pit stop for Parker right there. Took on 4 tires. The crew may have had some type of issue, but he's lost a couple of spots, and that's going to make things interesting because he's going to have to battle his way back through, and it's a lot easier to be out front with no cars in front of you and having the great arrow on your car, but now back in traffic, you know, that might change things up a bit.
So, for the first time in 65 laps, Josh Parker is not leading this race. We have a new leader, and that new leader is car number 28. That's the Platypus ride at Jesse Atchison. Atchison started in position number 41, and now he is up into the lead in car 28.
Yeah, I believe Jesse stayed out, and he didn't pit. He'll probably be pitting here in a few laps, and he does this quite often. But Lewandowski will probably be your leader in Gorlinski. The 2 Wrangler cars will be, well, they may have been coming down pit road. We'll have to check it out and see how it looks. But the 2 Wrangler cars up front right now, and, you know, we were talking earlier today, they're struggling. But they're not struggling no more. They're up front now.
And the Wrangler cars were the ones that were on the move. And speaking about on the move, if you're looking to get some great racing in this week on the iRacing service, Nim, fantastic tracks and fantastic series that are running on the service this week on week number 5.
Well, we're watching right now the top tier NASCAR division. This is NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. And these are the elite NASCAR iRacing.com drivers. But anybody can be a NASCAR driver here on the iRacing service. And in other NASCAR iRacing racing this week, we have the NASCAR iRacing Class A cars at Atlanta. The B cars, which would be the nationwide cars, are at Richmond. The C Series, the NASCAR iRacing.com Class C, which are the NASCAR trucks, are racing at Chicago. The NASCAR Tour Modified division's at Stafford this week, and that's a very fun division. Also, the NASCAR Weekly Modified division are racing at Richmond this week, and that's a lot of fun too. The NASCAR Late Model Series is at Oxford Plains Speedway, and that's up there in New England somewhere, isn't it, Tim?
Indeed it is. That's located in Oxford, Maine, and that's home of the Oxford 250. Fantastic race. I believe it's called the TD Bank 250 now. It's changed names a couple of times, but a fantastic short track, and I've been there a few times, and I can tell you what, it is replicated down to the millimeter on this service. Head over to iRacing.com and get signed up. You will not regret it. Next time by, we go Green Flag Racing. 68 laps will be complete when we see the Green Silk. Lewandowski and Gorlinski top 2.
And these guys are going to be very tough out front, I believe, Tim. They may have not qualified very well, but they do have a good setup and have been working well on this new tire model. So these guys are up front, and I believe they might be up front to stay.
Josh Berry moves from 42nd, 68 laps ago, and he now sits in 3rd. Davies and Alfala complete your top 5. Pace car is in. Lewandowski and Gorlinski going to lead this field back to green. Watch Josh Parker. First time he's been in traffic all night long. He starts in 6th. Green flag flies.
These guys up front probably took 2 tires on their pit stops. We'll have to confirm and check to see if that's the case. But Lewandowski out front, Gorlinski 2nd. Brad Davies there in the 3rd spot. He came into the pits in 3rd on that last caution. Comes out in 3rd. Josh Berry up to 4th.
Oh, here comes Derek Woods swooping down low in the 54 to make up a spot. Parker maybe falling like a rock here. He's already lost 2 spots.
Yeah, Parker in trouble, and you know this is just what he didn't want to have happen. He's single file now, and he's happy to be single file and not being challenged anymore. And now he can try to work his way back up front. But everybody trying to get sorted out. He doesn't want to be in back in traffic because if there's a mess up in front of him, that's going to hurt him.
The 6th is Steve Sheehan, also falling like a rock. The Mohican Missile, Pedro Mojica, just made a pass on the number 6. The 38 makes the move as well. Now here comes the 48 of Brad Wright. Brad Wright looking to put himself back up into the top 10. He will here. Oh, Sheehan cuts right in front of Ryan Blackburn, and he gets the bumper for it.
Yeah, he gets the bumper, but he made a great save. It kind of stacks everybody up behind him just a little bit, but that was a very good save by Sheehan right there. And now Blackford again running up to the rear bumper of Sheehan. He wants that spot.
Looking to make that position as you look at the top 3, Lewandowski, Gorlinski, and Davies. They have not changed positions. Berry and Alfala complete your top 5. The real battle is here just outside the top 10. John Prather now making a move. I believe that's Connor McKenzie that's falling under assault.
Yeah, and whoever's in that 45 car right there, that would be Prather. He got a bit loose coming off of turn 2 that last time as Hudson gets up into the fence right there. Or maybe we'll have to see who that is. That might be McKenzie. Up into the fence right there. That is Connor McKenzie up, and that allows Hudson to get by as the 45 car of Prather had to check up for him.
Prather makes up the position there as the 25 now comes into their check that the 01 makes the position up. That's Tyler Hudson. Now the 25 comes into the picture, as does the likes of Byron Daly, Josh Lawton. Look at Jordan Erickson. Erickson back up here well within the top 20.
Yeah, Erickson has been struggling with back, and right there, the 45 really out of shape, and there's a wreck on the back straightaway, as I believe that was the 45 car of Prather, or no, Lawton, the 40 car of Lawton lost it coming off of corner number 2. Looked all by himself, and maybe gathered up a couple of cars in there.
Man, Robert Hall gets into this as well, and Robert Hall has really been one of those racers this season here, Nim, that's really been rejuvenated with this new tire model. Fantastic run 2 weeks ago, and really nowhere to go for Robert Hall.
Yeah, Robert, a great driver, as all these drivers are. You make it in this series, you are a great driver, and he's had some struggles this season, but you're right. The new tire model, he's got a good feel for it, and has been working real hard and doing very well. But right there, the 40 car Lofton loses it coming off corner number 2, and he's got nowhere to go. And that's the case, you know, when people lose off corner number 2 here at Dover, and everybody, Dover is known for that. It's the Monster Mile, and when somebody loses it, it can collect a lot of cars.
So as these drivers collect their thoughts here on the Dover International Speedway, Lewandowski, Gorlinski, Davies, Berry, and Alfala are your top 5. As we run under caution for the time here on lap number 76, these guys are getting ready to get at it once again, and we will get at it in just a few moments' time. We'll go step out for a commercial break, and we'll be back for more racing at Dover. Don't go away.
iRacing.com is the premier online racing simulation featuring head-to-head competition on your PC. Race from your home PC, competing on the world's best real-world cars and tracks. Thousands of race fans and scores of pro racers like Dale Jr. and Justin Wilson are already racing at iRacing. Experience the thrill of victory yourself and go racing today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Dover International Speedway. Lewandowski, Gorlinski, Barry, Davies, Alfala are your top 5 as we get ready to throw the green flag once again. We have 78 laps complete when they see the green flag.
Yep, your 2 Wrangler cars up on the front row. Lewandowski on the inside, Gorlinski on the outside. Gorlinski already has a win this season. I don't believe Lewandowski does. We'll have to double check that, but I don't believe he does. Pace car is off.
And Gorlinski won a race on this brand new tire model as the green flag flies. Brad Davies looking to stick the nose underneath Gorlinski. Nothing doing there. As your top 2 get away, here comes Josh Parker. Oh boy, this might not end pretty. Parker trying to make up a few spots.
Yeah, they got a lot of contact back on the track with some tire spin, as we do confirm Lewandowski does not have a win yet this year, as Connor McKenzie coming out of corner number 2 back there gets a piece of the wall, and he flattens the right side of that car.
Ray Alfala looking to make a move and looking to get a little bit further up here in the top 5 as Josh Parker and Derek Wood play chase. Josh Berry in the number 72 looking to hold on to 4th.
Patrick Fogel and Tyler Hudson on that last lap there had a little bit of contact, and Hudson let Fogel know that he wasn't real happy about that. Fogel has packed off just a little bit, and Hudson is now looking okay. That's a battle for the 13th and 14th spot.
And just in front of them, Pedro Mojica and Brian Blackford duel it out, and just in between them, they have Steve Sheehan. So a lot of strong competition at this point, just outside the top 10 as we work lap number 81.
119 laps to go from here. Lewandowski still out front. Gorlinski looking pretty strong, though, right behind him. Davies does what Davies always does. He's in that 3rd spot, and he's just riding right now and looking for the second half of this race. But one more pit stop from here, definitely. These guys will probably pit with about 60 to 70 to go. But back in the pack, the 24 car, Pedro Mojica, is looking to get hung out here going down the corner number 1.
Mojica tried to set that pass up on the outside line of Brian Blackford. I'm not sure what exactly was going on there, if he thought he could go on the outside line there and make the pass, but it did not work for Pedro Mojica. He falls back 1 position, and it might be 2 here. Here comes Hudson on the inside line, and the 51 of Fogel looking to follow suit.
Yeah, Mojica up there on the outside line there. He's got a train of cars behind him, and these guys won't by, and Fogel looking to the inside as they go around corner number 2 right now. Fogel does have position. Mojica's going to have to let him ride, but Mojica does have momentum down the back straightaway. Fogel was not able to complete the pass.
And here comes the 25 of Richie Davidowitz. Davidowitz looking to pick up a spot, as will the 91 and 45 cars. Drivers looking to make a move here just before the halfway mark.
Yeah, it's actually going to start picking up a little bit. It's not quite time yet, but you know, you got to start working your way in the position you want to be. We're coming up here to halfway in about 15 laps, and soon after that, we're going to be getting to the end of the race. So these drivers are starting to think about what they want to do and how they're going to get there.
John Prather lost a position here as your top 3 continue to run as Thomas Lewandowski, John Gorlinski, and Brad Davies, as Davies will now be in your top 3, and he is looking on that number 21.
Davies is putting a lot of pressure on the 21 car, and I think the Gorlinski is going to say, hey, Thomas, you're going to have to go a little faster, and if you can't, you got to get out of the way, because he's getting pressured back there, and he's going to want to get by his teammate. And he is looking to the inside now, going down to the corner 3. Very tight. Lewandowski was not giving him a lot of room going down to 3 that time.
21 of John Gorlinski on that inside line looking to pick up the lead. Lewandowski says, no, not this time, but he had a great run off that corner and just really set up That leader is here. Comes the 11 of Brad Davies. Little slip up for the 21. Oh, boy. Barry and Alfala going at it.
Yeah, Barry put a big block on Alfala, and Alfala up the track and almost into the fence. And that lets Wood, and Wood gets turned coming off a 4.
Oh, boy. 54 up the racetrack. And, oh, boy, a lot of drivers had to get up into the wall and avoid it. It's not over. Here comes Vinny Sansoni. And the 80 spins around off the 54 after he got going again. Yellow flag will fly, and there's a lot of emotions running high here, I'm sure, Nim.
Yeah, there's definitely some drivers back there, and what happened there is going into the corner, it looked like Wood got underneath of Tyler as they moved up the track, and then Parker, he just came down, got into the back of Wood. I'm not sure, maybe Wood got a little bit loose coming off the corner there, but yeah, it's definitely that's very tight coming off of there. But a number of cars, I believe Tyler got some damage in that.
A lot of guys came mighty close to the wall if they did not hit it, and Towler was definitely one of them that came close if he did not hit the wall in that 08 car. Your leaders got through it. Thomas Lewandowski, John Gorlinski, Brad Davies, they had no problem, and then it was really behind them that really everything started to get a little bit interesting. Barry, Alfala, and Josh Parker, your top 6, and they all stay out on the racetrack.
Yeah, going down the back straightaway, Gorlinski, he come up with corner number 2, and he got a bit loose, and Davies and Barry had to check up. And when Barry had to check up, that gave Alfala a run. And Barry he didn't want to have any of it. He had to check up through no fault of his own, and he went way down the track to block Alfala. That messed up Alfala's line going in corner number 3. Alfala went way up the track. Parker went way up the track, and then the wreck was on when it looked like Wood got a bit sideways coming off of corner number 4. But that wreck started way back at corner number 2.
So as we work under caution here on lap number 91, let's see if we can possibly get a interview in here. I know one of the drivers that has been in the thick of some of this action this evening and has been involved in some of this. Brian Schoenberg, it's Tim Terry up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Tim.
What happened out there, bud?
Man, I don't know. It was just, I wouldn't even call it hard racing or anything. I was just kind of riding along there in 7th, not really in a hurry or anything, and Chris got past, and Chris Main that is, and he just kind of like shut the door on me 2 or 3 corners before the wreck, and I wasn't mad at him or anything. I was just trying to ride around, and he kind of gave the bottom open, and I was down there, and I guess our cars net-coated off each other or something, and Lewandowski didn't see it coming at all, and ran into my car so hard it just hit the fence head on. It's a hard hit. I'm okay, but man, the tale of 2 seasons.
Is it really a product of this racetrack? We see a lot of guys beating and banging, and then all of a sudden, a lap later, it just breaks out. Is it really just a product of this racetrack that we're seeing?
Yes and no. I mean, it is in a way, because Dover's always pretty treacherous, but it's a lot of fun at the same time, too. It sort of is, it sort of isn't. Tom really didn't even slow down at all when that wreck was happening, so I'm not sure what happened there, but, I mean, it wasn't, you can't just say it's completely his fault, but he didn't really take any maneuvers or anything. But, man, we weren't even racing each other hard, and our cars just net-coated into each other, and that was it. Before the new tire model, we were running top 5 in points, and now we're going to be battling for 25th. Crazy, isn't it?
And you mentioned that a tale of 2 seasons coming up. We have 3 races to go. What do you expect of these final 3 races?
At this point, it's really up to the officials, because with incident points, I was right on the edge, so it depends how they call that incident, whether I race or not next week, or 2 weeks from now, so it's really scary. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Just thanks to Inside Sim Racing, Pro Geek, JDR Graphics, Xlander. I mean, J-Lo and Ray have come so far with these setups. Before, we were running 800th, and now we both had top 5 cars. I just feel like a really big loser right now to be out of the race over something like that when we weren't even trying.
And that's Brian Schoenberg, driver of the number 55, and we'll see you on Hot Lap next week.
Thank you. We'll see.
So right now, Brian talked about Ray Alfala and Jason Loafing setting up the setups for the team, and right now Ray Alfala runs in position number 5, Nim, and we still have a long way to go. We still haven't reached that halfway mark yet on this race. We work lap number 93 as we're doubled up, pace car lights are off.
Yep, we'll get the green on lap 94, so 6 laps to go. Start of 94, so 7 laps to go until we reach halfway, 107 laps to go until we get to the end of this race. Your Wrangler cars, Thomas Lewandowski and John Gorlinski, are up front. And I think what we saw in the last stint, Tim, there's no team orders between these guys.
Indeed, there is not. Here comes the green, and here comes Thomas Lewandowski. It's Brad Davies. Now looking over, the second place driver is the 72 with Josh Berry up the racetrack with a little help from the 11. Opens the door for the 2 of Ray Alfala.
Yeah, and Alfala's not going to cut him a break. He wants that position. He's going to take it because Berry, put a pretty hard block on him right before that last caution flag. So he's not going to get any love from Alfala as Alfala moves up into the 4th position.
You'd really think right now with the way these guys are racing, Nim, that we'd be racing on lap 195, but we're racing on lap 95. There's still 106 laps to go in this one. The gloves are really off right now.
Well, you got to make your, these 100 laps could go by pretty quick. And then we've had a lot of cautions, so we haven't had a lot of racing laps to get things done. So you want to make your moves on the starts of these races because when you're all bunched up is the best opportunity to pick up a couple of spots.
As you ride on board with Sheehan, you saw him pressuring the number 48 really, really hard down the front straightaway as he gets up into the wall at a corner number 2. And I think we saw it, I think it was Martinsville we saw it, Nim, where everybody was just trying to get those positions on the restart, and we saw some really hairy restarts. It's definitely making everything exciting here.
Yeah, well, as they get sorted out, we get a long green run, and that'll be exciting also because we'll get to see who has the best car and who's making their moves. Right now, everybody getting sorted out, some distance or gaps being put between the drivers. But right now, I think as we go along here, you're going to see Gorlinski again challenge Lewandowski because Davies is now putting the 2 Gorlinskis right there on him as they go into corner number 1, and Davies is putting the challenge on him. And I think he might be doing that because he knows that Gorlinski's going to take it to Lewandowski then.
Davies, up on the wheel. You see that car, especially the last time through 1 and 2, really, really loose the back end, wanting to step out on that number 11, driving that car really hard. He dives it hard into the corner this time. Is it going to stick for him? It pushes up the racetrack a little bit, and it almost steps out of him at a corner number 2 as you ride on board with Brad Davies in the number 11.
Yeah, you can see right now he takes it down into corner number 3. He's right there. Gorlinski watching up the track just a little bit, and he's doing that so he can get a run off of the corner and try to chase Lewandowski down the straightaway. Lewandowski doing a little bit better right now as he's able to keep that gap out there to a couple of car lengths, and Gorlinski is not able to challenge him right now. But as if you look back there, 4 car lengths back, Ray Alfala is closing in on Davies.
Ray closing in on the 3rd place battle as the cross flags out. We are halfway home, 100 down and 100 to go here at Dover as the 11 of Davies trying to hold on to 3rd place as Ray Alfala closes in.
Josh Parker has made his way around Chris Main, and that will move Parker up into the 5th position. So Parker, who's led most of the laps early on in this race and got caught back in his pit stop, is making his way back to the front.
48 of Brad Wright, the 6 of Steve Sheehan. Here comes the 6 of Sheehan looking over the number 48. The 0-1 of Tyler Hudson looking to make a move back up into the top 10 if he can. Blackford has his rear view completely full with Josh Berry in the number 72. It's really a 5-car battle from 7th on back.
Yeah, it's a pretty good battle too from 7th on back there. They're all very close. They're all trying to make their way into the top 10 if they're just out, and the back of that pack is just out, but the caution flag is out.
So the caution flag will fly as the 85 is around, and that's Jordan Erickson. And Erickson has had such a good run this evening, and it looks like he may have a little bit of trouble. And yeah, 54 of Derek Wood. Oh boy, Wood. He shoveled that car hard into the corner, and he picked up the 85.
Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of not giving and not some very friendly stuff going on out there. As you know, that move down into the corner right there is, you know, he just dive bombed it down there, and that took out Ericsson. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but maybe there's something from previous seasons or previous races going on there. But Wood just kind of went down in there and dumped him.
I know I'm going to go back to a driver's meeting that I had at Scotia Speedworld a couple of weeks ago. Our race director said only take what the car is going to give you. Don't overpower, don't overdrive your car into the corner. And it just looked like that Derek Wood shoved that car 15 lengths deeper into the corner than it was going to go. I know it's easier for us to say up here in the booth, Nim, but it just looked like he dove that car so hard into the corner that I don't know if Ericsson was there, I don't know if that thing was going to stick anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't. He moved way up the track, and if Ericsson wasn't there, he was going way up the track anyway. So, you know, he knew what he was doing, and he made his move. And one thing I want to do, take a moment here, Tim. I want to welcome Justin Seitz to the service. He's a guy I met out at Lincoln Speedway a few weeks ago, and he's become a member here at iRacing. And he got out of the Rookie Series, and he's now driving the NASCAR late models this week at Oxford Plains. So just wants to give a shout out to Justin. Hope you're having fun out there, and hope you're enjoying the new NASCAR Series late model.
And I tell you what, those late models are a blast, and especially at Oxford, you really have to be up on the wheel at a track that's more of a circle compared to an oval. Sheehan comes back out onto the racetrack as he was one of the first ones to pit. And looking back here, I know we have some drivers with some new paint schemes. Let's see maybe if we can get a camera on the 15 as he comes out of pit road. That's Josh Connors. That's the Mason Baker Designs number 15. I know he was really excited to debut that car. I don't think he was here 2 weeks ago when we went racing, so this might be the first time that this 15 may be on the racetrack here in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. So let's give some love to Josh Connors right now as he pulls off of pit road and heads back out to the speedway, right now shown in 31st.
These guys with damage are working real hard trying to get that damage fixed so they can continue on in the race. And, you know, guys like Robert Hall, Landon Harrison. Landon, we talked about earlier in his first race, struggling. And, you know, it's a hard place here at Dover to have your first race. But he's in there. He's getting a lot of experience. And right now running in that 34th spot. Florian Goddard, Matthew Moose back there, Joshua Lofton, Josh Connors, Jordan Erickson. Those guys are really working on their cars, trying to get them fixed so they can be in a better position towards the end of this race.
And we should mention as well, we have drivers that are more than one lap down, still on the racetrack, just really looking to pick up positions. Florian Goddard 3 laps back, Matthew Moose 5 laps back, as I believe that might have been Byron Daly speeding through the pit area there. Matthew Moose 5 laps down, Josh Lawton 9 laps down, as you would think, well, why are they still on the racetrack? Well, these drivers are racing for points here this season, albeit they do have drop weeks. They don't want to use a drop week if they don't have to. So you're looking at guys back there that are hovering, especially around that top 25, like a Josh Lawton, like a Greg Spears, and a Matthew Moose, and a Florian Goddard, that are looking to gain every single point. When it comes down to it, Nim, it could very well be 1 or 2 points in between 25th and 26th place. That determines whether you have to race the Pro Series or whether you can pretty much sit back for the winner and know that you're locked into the 2012 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
You know, another thing too is if you're down there in points, it's most likely you've had more than 2 bad races. So, you know, some of the bad races that you have are going to count in your points total. And, you know, you want to improve on that. And these guys who are fighting down there, trying to get their cars repaired, trying to, you know, work on that best spot, they're trying to work on their bad races being, you know, better than they could have been. So you don't want to give up. You always want to try to get what you can, especially here at Dover. Anything can happen. There could be a lot of attrition. So you work hard, you get that car fixed, and you could go from 40th spot up to 28th, and that's a lot of points.
Thomas Lewandowski, still your leader on lap 107. He will have John Gorlinski to the outside. Brad Davies was closing in, as was Ray Alfala on that last stint of green flag racing. Watch that second row here as they try to make the move on this restart. 107 complete as they come up out of corner number 4. They'll see the green flag here, and Thomas Lewandowski puts the hammer down. We're back underway. Big tire spin from Brad Davies.
Yeah, Davies spins his tires on every restart like that, and it cost him this time. Alfala back up in the second space. Maine tries to challenge, but not able to do so. Those guys are going to get in single file line, but it's a big pack of wasps back there coming down the back straightaway.
Ray Alfala putting some pressure on the number 21 of John Gorlinski. Ray Alfala wants to put the 2 back in the 2 hole into that second place spot as he falls off the back a little bit on the straightaway. Davies now putting pressure on the 2.
Yeah, Alfala's strong. I mean, we saw him come up through the field. He makes up a lot of spots on these restarts, but we've seen him strong on long green flag runs also, as Davies now looking to the inside of Alfala as they go down there too. They may be the 2 strongest cars on the track, Alfala and Davies, and they need to work their way up to the front, and they're going to try to do so.
Just an update, Steve Sheehan in the number 6, brand new tires on that race car, and he is up to the back porch of John Prather. That is in positions number 8 and 9 respectively, as the 45 begins to make the move. 72 back in traffic as well. A lot of drivers on the move.
Yeah, at 72, that is Josh Berry. He's back last lap. He was in the 16th position. He's up in the 15th spot right now. He doesn't want to be back there. He was running up into the top 5 just a few laps ago. Now finds himself mired deep in the pack.
John Prather, the 6 of Steve Sheehan. Connor McKenzie, give a call out to Connor McKenzie. McKenzie is now up into the top 10 as Sheehan looks to make the move on the 45. As you look at 3rd and 4th place up here, Ray Alfala and Brad Davies.
You know, Brad Wright, we need to give him a call out too. Brad Wright looks to gain up to like the 2nd position in points. He's running in the 7th spot right now. A very tricky track, a very competitive track, and Brad Wright doing very good up in the 7th spot.
And Brad Davies is there as well in points. He's 4th in points. He finished runner-up last season. Don't count out Davies when you look at least a runner-up finish here this season. And if Davies continues to run the way he is right now, he runs in position number 4. Don't count him out for at least a top 2 run in this season as you run on board with Sheehan.
Oh, no doubt. Davies could be a challenger. If anything happens to Alfala, you know, Alfala is out there above anybody right now, but Davies is right there, and he had a little bit of a weak run early on in the season, but he's been coming on. And with the drop weeks right now, Davies is only about 5 points in back of Wright. So those 2 cars right there are battling for that could be the 2nd spot in points right now with the problems Hazard's had in this race.
And Hazard sits back in 22nd position right now as a lot of these drivers slotting these race cars around the racetrack. I see one on the move, and it's just behind this battle between the track slayers. It's the 08 as here comes the 6 on the 45. Side by side for position number 8. It looks like the 6 will have it. 10 going to follow through as well. John Prather may stand to lose at least 2 positions here, and it might be 3. Here comes Jeremy Allen, and here comes RT. Richard Towler looking to make his move.
You see the train lining up right behind him. RT looking down to the inside as they come off corner number 2. He's got to run as they come down the straightaway. Blackford's right there. Barry's right there. And also, I believe that's Tyler Hudson right there, too. So Prather may not get down from this line for a long time.
From 8th to about 15th place is probably where the 45 is going to fall. And Sansoni is looking to get up there as well and make it 16th place. He might not get there in time, though, as a 45 trying to fall into line behind the 01 here. And Sansoni going to get underneath the number 45 and make it 1 more spot where the 45 might be 2 or 3 more. Here comes the 91 and 25.
Yeah, let's give a call out to Vinny Sansoni. He's had a lot of tough luck this season. Hasn't had a lot of good runs, as it looks like that Prather finally forces his way back down the line. But Vinny Sansoni up in the top 15.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th set to become a battle here. Gorlinski is falling back into the clutches of Ray Alfala and Brad Davies as you ride on board with your point leader going down into corner number 1, trying to catch the 21.
You know, he's trying to catch the 21, but he's also trying to hold off the advances of Davies right behind him. And that may be one of the keys right now. Davies is strong. Alfala is also strong. They want to get by the 21 car Gorlinski, who seems to have fallen off a little bit here.
Would it possibly be Gorlinski maybe trying to save some stuff here in this second half, the early half of the second half of this race? We talked about that last quarter where drivers will begin to push and drivers will begin to go. Could he very well be saving for that point?
They just had a couple of restarts as Davies looks underneath of Alfala now. In those restarts, they're able to work on tire pressures and they're able to jack some weight around and do a number of things to change the setups on these cars. And it's possible what you say is going on, Tim, but it's also possible that he made some adjustments to that car that he just doesn't like right now, and he might be trying on the next pit stop to change it up a little bit.
And more than likely we'll have one more of those as Davies goes to third, and I believe it was Steve Sheehan that nearly bought the farm here off corner number 2. Big wiggle for Sheehan as he's continuing to make positions, and he has a little shadow behind him, and Connor McKenzie in the number 10. The 10 seems to be following the 6 up through the pack.
Tyler's shuffled up the track a little bit. The 6 car trying to move the 48 a little bit right there in corner number 2. He gets a bump, and now the 10 car, I believe that's Connor McKenzie, and he's trying to look underneath the 6 car, but Steve Sheehan seems to be struggling with that 6 car right now.
Trying to get around that number 48, but the 48 of Brad Wright running his own line right now, and Sheehan wants that low line but just can't seem to get it away from the number 48 of Brad Wright as he has to fall back and reset. And it looks like these guys are also closing in on the 81 of Josh Parker. Parker, I'm not sure what happened to that car. He may have gone the wrong way on adjustments, Nim, but he's back in 6th place. He led the first 60-some laps of this thing.
Yep, I was just thinking the same thing. Parker back there in the 6th spot. He may be saving his tires, but since he's gotten back in traffic, he's struggling a little bit. And I don't think he wants to be out of the top 5 right now. I think if he could, he'd be making his way back up front. And one thing these drivers are battling, they do have a lot of aero effects on these cars, and you can get an aero push if you get right up behind the car in front of you. Right now, Sheehan looking right all over the back bumper of Brad Wright, and Sheehan feeling those aero effects, but it's not bothering him too much, as now Brad Wright moves to the inside. Sheehan goes around the outside, and Brad Wright will give up that spot.
And that was probably the wisest decision at this point for that number 48 up Brad Wright as the 6 of Steve Sheehan. That wasn't the first time that the 48 felt the 6 as the 10 and 02 going at it, and they have a new driver back there. That's Brian Blackford in the battle, and he's going to bring some friends along with him, Barry and Hudson.
Yeah, the 10 car got slowed up a little bit, and Jeremy Allen tried to get underneath him going down the front straightaway, and the 10 car blocked him, and that put Allen up the track, and now Allen, one of the car down there low, but the Jeremy Allen got stuck up high and may lose a bunch of spots just because he got blocked going down the front straightaway.
He's not going to roll over for these drivers by no means as he makes 2 positions or loses 2 positions. He's going to come down right in front of the defending titleist of this series, Richard Towler, as they battle hard here on lap number 128. These guys are starting to push to the front in this long green flag run.
Vinny Sansoni now working his way up a little bit back there in the 15th position. Towler moves his way back up to the 14th spot, so some battling going on back there for around the 14th, 15th spot.
And give a tip of the cap to Sansoni right now, running in that number 80. Wasn't he sideways on the racetrack under that big wreck we hit?
That's right, he was, and he's done a good job of limiting the damage and keeping that car well so he can run up here and lighten the race.
Sheehan just made the move on Josh Parker in the number 81. He moves up to position number 6, so Sheehan in the 6 on the move. He has Chris Main in the 38, and Chris Main's been a top 5 driver all night long. He's looking to hang on to it here.
You know, one more note on Sansoni. He's 38th in points right now with the drops. One good race, a race where you can get up around 10th position, you know, for those guys who don't usually run up there, can be a big jump in the points, and, you know, that could put him up in the battle for relegation. So this could be a good spot for Sansoni.
And just in front of him, it's 10 and 48 going side by side. Connor McKenzie just made the position, but Brad Wright wants it back. In the 48, down low, here comes the 33 of Blackford, and we might be seeing something we saw with John Brather a few moments ago. The freight train starting to line up. Here comes Blackford in the 33.
Yeah, it's so hard when you get up in the outside groove, and if you think the corner's narrow coming up the corner when you're in a normal racing groove, you get stuck up on the outside, and it's very narrow, and that wall can come out and bite you really quick, and that's Miles the Monster can come out and get you here real quick.
72 hunting the 33 of Brian Blackford. Josh Berry looking to make up a position and trying to get up here into that coveted top 10 spot as we come up at a corner number 4, 132 complete.
Looking at the battle between the 38 car of Chris Main right now and the 81 car of Josh Parker. That's Parker in the 7th spot, Main in the 6th spot. Parker led most of the race earlier today, and the 81 car now trying to get back up there in the battle for this lead, but he's struggling doing so.
Brad Davies, car number 11, up to position number 2. John Gorlinski falls back to 3rd. Ray Alfala starting to reel in this battle as well, but that number 11 has begun to come to life. Davies will chase down Thomas Lewandowski down the back straightaway for your lead position on lap 135.
Yeah, I think the longer we go, the stronger Davies is. Davies is strong the whole run, and the only weak spot we've seen from him is the wheel spin he gets coming off the corner. That may be because of his car setup, maybe a bit looser than these other guys, and you know, it's working for him right now as he really closes in on Lewandowski. As you see from the roof cam right here going down the corner number 3, he is right there.
He has driven up to the back of Thomas Lewandowski in the 16, the Wrangler Chevrolet, falling under assault from the Whiskey River Chevrolet Impala. Behind him in car number 11, Davies, looking to take away what would be his 4th victory of the season. Davies has hit a time in this season, Nim, where he's starting to get hot.
Yeah, he definitely is hot, as we've seen from his last 2 races right now. And like we said earlier, with Hazard having trouble in points, Brad Wright back in 8th in points, you know, he's definitely got enough points to pass Brad right here. If it were to end right now, that could move him up in the 2nd place in points by the end of this race.
Ray Alfala looking at position number 3. Here he comes on the 21. Ray Alfala, the Pro Geek Consulting Chevrolet, up to position at number 3 as Gorlinski falls back to 4th, and Steve Sheehan, guys, he's coming, and he's coming in a hurry. He made 0.2 of a second that time on your leaders.
Yeah, this is definitely the longest green flag run we've had so far this race, and you can see the cars who have the best setups and the guys who have you know, have worked on their cars, and they all work on their cars, but the guys who have had the most success working on their cars have come to fruition right now. Ray Alfala, strong all season long, has a big points lead, and the reason is because he keeps running like he does right now. Davies challenging Lewandowski real hard coming down the back straightaway.
.33 of Brian Blackford here about mid-pack as we battle up in front. We need to go back and look at that here in just a few moments' time, Nim. Right in front of about 8 cars. He dives it sideways as Davies looks over the number 16 for the lead position. Brian Blackford is running in 9th, and I'm sure he's counting his lucky stars.
Yeah, it's, you know, you can get yourself in big trouble here, and he was able to get away with that one. As there is, trouble going down turn 3. And that's Connor McKenzie up in the fence, and he's able to keep it straight, and we are still green, as I believe Kenzer.
Yellow out for the number 10 of Connor McKenzie as he had it saved, Nim, and it just seemed like it wouldn't come off that wall until it spun itself off that wall. Yellow flag will fly, and it's going to be a single car incident, nobody else hitting the number 10, but that's a tough break for Connor McKenzie, and he's still trying to get that thing righted.
Yeah, these guys were getting a little out of hand, battling pretty hard, and it looks like Thomas Hazard, I believe. Tyler Hudson gave him a little help going down to corner number 3, and McKenzie got up into the fence, and these guys were getting a little bit out of control, and that's what caused this crash.
And you have to remember that is where the likes of Brian Blackford was racing, Brad Wright, and you mentioned Tyler Hudson. It was just a matter of time, you'd have to think, before the proverbial bomb went off and something really happened there. Here come your leaders down onto pit road. Thomas Lewandowski, Brad Davies, Ray Alfala, John Gorlinski, and Steve Sheehan, your top 5 as they came on to pit road, as I'm sure that might be a little bit different when they exit the pit road.
Yeah, this is big time right here. These guys got to get out, and they got to get out in front of the other guys. They pit right now. They can go to the end of the way from here. So this is their final pit stop. Probably 2 tires from most of these cars. They're probably not going to take 4 because track position is so important. They're going to come off the corner right here. This is the race.
2 for Thomas Lewandowski. He comes off pit road first. Oh boy, big move for Thomas Lewandowski. 2 right side tires on the Wrangler Chevrolet.
Yeah, I think most of the guys up front took 2 tires. Alfala gets past Davies coming off a pit road just by a fender. Davies third, and Gorlinski comes off fourth. But there's a couple cars that have not pitted who are in front of them. We'll see if any of them stay out, but I believe most of them come in and pit this time.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers back there did take 2 tires, so we'll see how it all shakes out in just a few moments' time as we'll step away for a few moments and bring you back to the final quarter of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship event from the Dover International Speedway. Just over 50 laps to go. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Dover International Speedway. Pace car lights are off. We will go green flag racing with 54 laps remaining. It's Thomas Lewandowski up in front, but he has some new company on the outside line. It's Ray Alfala, Brad Davies, John Gorlinski, Steve Sheehan, your top 5. And I think it might be a little bit more of a difficult restart this time with Ray Alfala hanging on that outside line. Thomas Lewandowski had John Gorlinski on the outside for these last few starts.
Yeah, we'll have to watch Davies down there in the third spot down low. He's been known for spinning his tires here on these restarts. Gorlinski's going to want to take advantage of that as we come to the start right now. It looks like Davies gets a good start this time going down to corner number 2. Corner 1.
Davies going to stick the nose underneath the number 2 of Ray Alfala. Davies wants second place back from the Pro Geek Consulting Chevrolet Impala side by side coming up at a corner number 2. Alfala with a little bobble will open the door for John Gorlinski. Here comes Gorlinski. He's going to fall back off the bumper of the 2.
Yeah, Alfala's able to get down there in the third position. That's a big deal for him. He could have been hung up for a long time, able to take on the third spot. But now Davies up in the second spot. He's going to make his challenge towards Lewandowski now.
So Davies will set sail, or at least attempt to set sail, on the number 16 as we look back here for battles on this racetrack. I see the 6 is closing in on the number 21 of John Gorlinski. Sheehan back up in the top 5 and looking for something to happen here.
Yeah, you're looking for something to happen. Get back on there. Byron Daly coming through 3 and 4 the last time. Right now, he had Patrick Fogel underneath him, and he wasn't giving Fogel much room at all, and thought they were going to make some contact and go around there, but able to get away with it. But that battle right now for the 15th position, and Byron, you know, he doesn't want to give up that spot. This is one of the best positions he had all season long. Oh, big trouble in the front straightaway. Wright's involved. Towler's involved.
And when we look back at the replay, Nim, this is all going to start around the 38 and 72, and they were battling side by side, and it just looks like Chris Main got loose. And the 72 probably didn't know that that 38 was loose up there. They make contact in the 72, back across the track. Oh boy, Parker involved. The 48 of Brad Wright goes for a wild ride. How about RT? RT goes for a spin through this as well. 0-2 involved, at least a half dozen cars, and a half dozen good cars at that, involved in this. So lots of hard impacts in this wreck to bring out the caution flag, and you see the likes of Josh Parker, who ran so strong early in the race. Brad Wright was looking for a solid top 5 run. Just so many guys that ran so good at the start of this race and were poised to make a run near the end of this 200-lap event. That's all been dashed now.
Yeah, it does take much here. Chris Main looked like he lost it going through 3 and 4. He's up on the high side there, and he just lost the back end. And then, he got into Wright, and Parker got involved, and that took out Brad Wright also. It took out a bunch of cars, and a number of cars trying to get woed up for it got involved. And it's just one of those things. You come up corner number 4 here, it's very narrow. A car up front gets sideways, and it's going to take out a lot of cars. But it looked like maybe Main just spun the rear tires there a little bit. And, he gets away with it pretty clean. I don't even see a scratch on that car. So he's still up there in the 7th position, I believe. Looks like he got away with it all right.
And Josh Berry, after passing so many cars here this evening, he started shotgun on the field. He worked his way up to the top 3 at one point, Nim, and now he finds himself in the paddock. He's more than likely done for the evening in the number 72. He passed a whole lot of cars, but it's all for naught when you end up in the garage with 50 laps to go.
Yeah, no doubt he had nowhere to go on that one, as Brad Wright had nowhere to go. Brad Wright fighting for that second spot in points right now. Hazard was in trouble. Hazard's having a great run now. He was able to have his wreck early. He's back up into the 9th spot, so he's going to be able to salvage a good finish. Davies possibly looking to take over that second place in points. He's having a fight right now, but Brad Wright is going to take a hard hit here, along with a number of drivers that really had no place to go in that one.
What did we say back about lap, 40 or 50 or so in this race? You have to finish first, or first finish in order to finish first, or something along those lines. Thomas Hazard still in this race and sitting in position number 9. He's had everything happen in front of him, and you talk about that battle for second in the points. Brad Wright had some issues. He's still on the lead lap and on the racetrack, albeit he's really behind the 8 ball right now. Brad Davies second in the race right now, 4th in the standings. It's going to be really close, but Thomas Hazard may have just dodged a big bullet here this evening.
Yeah, it's good to have, if you're going to have a problem, to have it early, because it gives you a lot of time to recover from it. Brad Wright's run a great race all race long, as Josh Berry has, and, they have their problems here at the end of the race, and they've really got no time to recover, as, Parker and those guys in Berry, they're pretty heavily damaged and may not have had a chance to fix their cars. There's a big pile up here on the front straightaway. Hazard was able to fix, and he's able to work his way back through and able to have a good recovery. But we still got a ways to go, too. 46 laps to go from here, and still a lot can happen.
So now on this restart, we have Brad Davies on the outside line. Ray Alfala will sit on the inside line. Do we see, like we did on the other restart, or the most recent restart, where Davies tries to get under Ray? Do we see Ray trying to complete that pass under Brad on this restarter as quick as he can to get back to second?
Oh, no doubt. Ray is definitely going to try to do what Davies did to him last time. We'll see if he can make it work. Every restart's a little bit different. Last time Brad Davies had a great restart. He's been spinning the tires a lot on his restarts, but not the last time. Alfala wants that second spot. He wants to be able to challenge Lewandowski, and I believe if he does get in that second spot, he might be able to do so because he's had a good, strong car all race long.
Pace car in Thomas Lewandowski. Going to lead the field to the green silk here. Green flag flies. Lewandowski puts the hammer down, and here comes Ray Alfala. Alfala underneath the number 11, and 11 might lose second here. Indeed he does. Alfala to P2.
But you saw Davies was smart right there. Davies let off. He got back down in front of Gorelinsky there because he didn't want to get stuck on that outside line. Oh, and Sheehan's in trouble. He's going to come back up across the track in front of everybody.
We're going to take out some good cars here. The Platypus involved. Jameson Spieth on his roof, riding down the bank now. That might flip over as it comes back here, but the number 97, wild ride for Jameson Spieth. Yellow flag flies.
Yeah, when he came back up across the track, a lot of cars had no chance. Right there, we'll try to get car numbers to see who they are. But it looks like the 28 Jesse Atchison really had no chance to miss anybody there, and the Jameson Spieth car really had no place to go.
And they were running up in the top 15, and it's fantastic runs for those drivers at this point in the race. And trying to get a good look at this replay, it looked like the 0-1 comes off the corner. He may have got a piece of the wall off corner number 2. The 6 car really not giving him a whole lot of room there, but just enough room to make something happen. And whether it was the 6 coming up or the 0-1 coming down, whatever the case may be, they made contact, and that's what really triggered it off. Jordan Eriksson gets a piece of this as well in the number 85. Tough break for Eriksson as he was coming right back up to the front of the field.
Yeah, they did make contact, and it was tight coming off that corner. The 0-1 was up on the outside, but and he did have a tiny wiggle, but he's up about as close to the wall as you can be. And Sheehan definitely wasn't giving any room. There's definitely contact that sent the Sheehan car down on the inside. But it's the end of the race. They're racing hard and trying to do the best they can. And it's difficult, man. These guys are trying to run for position, and they are running on the ragged edge, and it is very difficult.
So once again, it will be your top 4 that really have been there since the drop of the green flag, minus Josh Parker. Lewandowski, Alfala, Brad Davies, John Gorelinsky, and then we open the door to Tyler Hudson, Chris Main, Hazard up to 7th. He avoided that one too. Blackford in 8th, Fogel in 9th, and Byron Daly in your top 10 in the number 91.
Yeah, that's a great thing about an attrition track, and a track that you're going to see a lot of attrition, is it gives some drivers the opportunity to run up a bit higher and do well. And they're doing well not because they're slow; they're having a good race, and they're having a smart race here today. And the guys up front, let's see if they can challenge them.
.157 completed as Lewandowski has really been spot on these restarts. I think we might see an exchange for second, and as they exchange that second place position on these restarts, it only lets that lead grow for Lewandowski.
Yeah, Lewandowski likes seeing these short runs at these caution flags. That helps him out, as he knows Alfala and Davies are strong on the long green runs, but those two guys want the long green runs.
And how about guys that, if this continues, if we see some drivers up here in the top 10 that end up getting knocked out, how about some guys that really stand to have a great run and maybe even in the top 10 by the end of the night? Justin Lowry, 66 in 12th place, 13th, the 3 of Stephen Gilbert. When's the last time we talked about Stephen Gilbert getting a top 10 run? He's looking at it right now in 13th place. We have guys like Dana Weimer, who's been involved in a few incidents this evening. That car looks like it's been through a war, sitting in 18th place right now. And then we have guys that were involved in these most recent cautions. We're talking Connor McKenzie. We're talking Brad Wright. We're talking like John Prather and Richie Davidowitz. They still have a little ways to go. We're going to have about 40 laps to go when we go back to green. They'll be coming to the front, and then we have guys that are going to be looking to protect their positions. The battle for the lead is going to be good in them, but I think the battle right around the 10th place position on back is going to be as good, if not better.
Yep, no doubt. And a lot of these guys are very talented back there. As we say, every driver in this race, very talented. I had the pleasure of racing Stephen Gilbert just a couple weeks ago at Watkins Glen. We were in an A-Series NASCAR iRacing Class A-Series race at Watkins Glen, and he beat me pretty good. He won the race. I got second, but I had nothing for him. He's just he's a great driver, and up there in the 13th spot right now, running in this series is probably is a great accomplishment.
And the race is far from over. He'll look to turn that 13th place run into at least a top 10 run before the checkered flag falls. We will have 41 laps to go when the pace car pulls off here and we take the green flag. Tom Lewandowski looking to lock up his first win of the season. Al Fala in a second, looking to have a huge point night in the Pro Geek Consulting number 2. Pace car is in. Lewandowski getting set to take the green flag once again, and he puts the hammer down. We're back underway. The 2 and the 11 going to go at it for second. The 2 is going to take the spot.
Yeah, Alfala got a good jump. You saw how he started up there wide a little bit so he could see the car of Thomas Lewandowski and judge his restart by then. He was able to get back in second. Davies falls back in third. Gorlinski fourth. And Tyler Hudson up in the 5th spot. Lap number 1, that's 40 to go the last time by. Working lap 161 and 39 to go this time by. We are the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Thomas Lewandowski is your leader. Ray Alfala second, Brad Davies third, John Gorlinski fourth, and Tyler Hudson currently runs 5th.
And Chris Main just outside that top 5 right now in 6th place, and he has a little gap back to Thomas Hazard in the number 9. As we work lap number 162 around the high banks here at Dover. Lewandowski comes up at a 4, will complete 162.
Lewandowski gabbing Ray Alfala just a little bit by about 3 car lengths right there. And Brad Davies disappears a little bit. He may be having connection issues. That would be a tough break for Brad Davies in that 3rd spot right now, but it doesn't seem he's coming back. This might be a serious issue, connection issue for Brad Davies. And this is one of those things, a mechanical type issue in the real world. Davies, in this time, he's had his connection drop, internet connection drop, and that's the problem. All these guys are racing from anywhere around the world, to this race, and if Davies drops out, that's going to be the end of his race, kind of like a blown motor.
Brad Wright comes off pit road now in the number 48. And when you think of connection issues, I think of Jesse Niemanen in the the road side for the Drivers' World Championship. He's had tough luck this season with his connection in Finland. And Brad Davies right now, you really can't afford to have something like this, but it looks like Davies is going to have to rally back in order to salvage what he can out of this race.
Yeah, and then, the guy's got to be really careful here for about a lap. I don't think Davies is going to make it back. He's going to get dropped, but they got to be real careful because if somebody blinks out, they could come back in within a few seconds, and you just want to make sure that you give that guy just a little bit of room while his connection settles down. As you can see, all race long, you're watching these cars all race long, and you see narrowly an incident or anything of a connection issue, and Brad's just been dropped from the server. He will be able to get back in, but he will be a few laps down once he does get back in because he's not being scored while he can't be seen. These guys it does happen from once in a while, and we do call it a mechanical type issue, but right now, Brad Davies getting back on the server, he's going to try to make it back out.
As Lewandowski comes by to complete lap number 167, you like what you see on the racetrack? Let's get down there and let's get these microphones working on the racetrack. Let's get some sights and sounds at the Dover International Speedway. Thomas Lewandowski continues to lead Ray Alfala in second. Gorlinski, Hudson, and Main, your top five. Brad Davies, after having those issues, back on the racetrack, albeit 6 laps behind the pace, as he is scored in 29th.
As you look at Thomas Lewandowski, car number 16, a Wrangler car, he's out front. He's got Alfala only a few car lengths behind him, and John Gorlinski, his teammate, just riding there back in third place. This team of Lewandowski and Gorlinski, I'm not sure. I think Alfala may be a part of that team somehow also. These guys really got their act together since this new tire model come out, and they've been fast ever since it has come out. But right now, Thomas Lewandowski looking to have a special race here, Tim.
And you talk about special race. Thomas Lewandowski has yet to win a NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race. He's been racing in this series since the inception back in 2010. And winning one of these races is special. Not only do you get to say you won in this series, you can say I won a NASCAR sanctioned race. You get your name on NASCAR.com. You get the result on In Racing News. There's just so much stuff that goes along with this race, and Thomas Lewandowski looking to get up there and win it.
Thomas Lewandowski right now running the 13th spot in points with the drop races, and with the drop races he's running 13th in points. This will be a big help, as this could move him up into the top 10, and that puts him from 13th up further than that is paid positions, Tim, so he could be working his way up into the money.
And he's going to have to get up on the wheel in these next few laps. Here comes the 2 of Ray Alfala, and Ray Alfala knows what it's like to win one of these NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship races. Alfala looking to pour the pressure on here in the final 8 to this race, this time by 25 laps to go.
Speaking of money, Alfala is looking for about $10,500 of that money, as he leads the championship right now by a long margin. Lewandowski working his way back up to get some of that money, but right now $10,500 goes to the champion, and also he gets to stand on the stage down there in Homestead when NASCAR crowns all its champions down in Homestead, Florida in November.
And he closes in on the 16, as does the 21 of John Gorlinski. And we look back to a few weeks ago when Gorlinski won his first race of the season, and he really turned on with this brand new tire model. Gorlinski looking for a good run here, as it looks like Jeremy Allen falling a lap down. They might close in this battle here, 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's Main, Hazard, and Brian Blackford battling for 5th place, and those guys are looking to pick up a few spots.
Right now, Lewandowski looks good. He's out there by about 3 car lengths. The field has stayed the same. The distance between him and Alfala has stayed the same. Alfala probably waiting a little bit to see if he can challenge. Gorlinski looking pretty decent right now. He's in the 3rd spot. Hudson, 4th. He hasn't been up that far all race long. Finally up into the 4th position. Chris Main in 5th.
And how about this battle for 6th place right now? Hazard and Blackford. When we started this race, about 40 laps in, Hazard was backwards into the wall. And we thought, okay, Thomas Hazard, yeah, he's got some work to do, but he's got a long way to do it. This battle for 2nd in the points, Wright and Davies are more than 1 lap down apiece. They are laps down. Hazard sits in position number 6. This is going to be a turning point in this season if Hazard finishes where he is right now for 2nd place.
It's huge, because Hazard's car wasn't damaged just a little bit. It had heavy damage to it. And that crew has worked very hard on this car all race long. He's gotten into the pits, gotten out of the pits as quick as he could on all these caution flags. He stayed on the lead lap, and now he has a chance to salvage this position and keep the 2nd position, and maybe even pull away in 2nd spot, because of Wright and Davies, who we thought were going to be right there, have had issues.
And he's going to have to keep that number 33 at bay right now. The 33 of Brian Blackford sitting in a 7th place right now. And it's actually closing in Patrick Fogel a little bit. Patrick Fogel is closing in on this battle as well, as Lewandowski continues to lead Ray Alfala, Gorlinski, and Tyler Hudson. And really the gap stabilized up there between your top 4. Hudson about 1.3 back.
Battle for the 6th position right now. That's Blackford going underneath Hazard. Hazard's car is still not perfect, and he saw that Blackford was a little bit better than he was, so he let Blackford go. But still, 7th spot for Hazard, still very good. Fogel back there in the 8th spot. He's going to try to chase him down now.
Getting down to the final few laps of this race, 183 being worked on the board, and Thomas Lewandowski 17 laps away from his first ever NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship win. And one driver working his way back up through the field is 54 of Derek Wood. After being involved in a few incidents this evening, he is working up on Byron Daly in the number 91.
Yeah, Byron having a great run in that 9th position right now. Pedro Mojica in the 11th spot doing very good. Vinny Sansone, we talked about earlier this race, up into the 13th spot right now. So like you said before, a number of drivers having their best runs of the season so far. Still, Lewandowski holds the same interval over Alfala, who holds the same interval over Gorlinski.
And it looks like Hudson has closed in that gap the last couple of laps by 1/10 of a second a lap. Tyler Hudson looks to be coming in that 0-1. He closes it in another 1/10 a lap. He might very well be starting to close in on these guys, but can he pass them? It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, and that's a big one there too. You never know. Right now, Alfala is probably feeling a little bit of an aero effect from that car. You see these guys not able to close in on each other. Looks like Hudson's closing that gap just a bit right now, but like you said, if he catches them, will he be able to do anything? 13 laps to go from here, 13 laps next time by, so he doesn't have much time to do it. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it now.
Keep in mind, Lewandowski and Tyler Hudson have never won a race in this series. They are some of the best iRacers on this service right now, but they have yet to cross the line first in a NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Here comes the number 2 of Ray Alfala. Alfala is there on Thomas Lewandowski, the Pro Geek Consulting Chevrolet Impala, all over the back of the Wrangler Chevrolet.
And Thomas is not going to make it easy at all. Thomas runs a lot of races all week long. He prepares for these races, and he is in races in all the different series on the iRacing service. He's very experienced. He's won just about everything that he's raced in. He's not won a NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race yet. He wants it today. He's got about 10 laps to go, 11 laps to go this next time by, and he's going to want to hold off Alfala, but Alfala is strong, and Alfala is there.
The number 2 of Ray Alfala looking over the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski. It's closing in Gorlinski. It's closing in at Tyler Hudson. 4-car battle for the win here at Dover. This time by, when we come down across the stripe, 10 to go. Here comes the 2. 16 throws the block.
Yeah, but he throws the block. 2 really didn't have a good enough run the last time by. We know Lewandowski wants it. He doesn't want to give it up. He's a little bit weak coming off of corner number 2. That's where Alfala is strong. As you can see, they go around enter 2 right now. Lewandowski pushes just a little bit, and you can see Alfala gets a good run on him coming off corner number 2, but not good enough to make a pass this time.
Ray Alfala looking to set up that pass that will take him to victory lane for the 3rd time this season. As the 16 continues to lead, Gorlinski runs in a 3rd. Hudson is 6/10 of a second behind. It's anybody's race in this top 4 for the win here at Dover. Down the back straightaway, 9 laps to go.
Alfala is still right there. He's about 2 car lengths off. He's trying to get a run. Alfala is better coming off of the corners. Lewandowski better entering the corners. Alfala not coasting off, but they're going down to corner number 2. This is where Alfala is best. Lewandowski holds it low, tries to get some aero push, but Alfala is right there.
Alfala looking to dive down low, and Nim, you mentioned it. I think if Ray Alfala makes the move, he's likely going to make it off turn 2 down the back straightaway and try to set it up into 3. It seems like Ray Alfala is best down that back straightaway off this 2nd corner here.
Yeah, Alfala is best down the back straightaway because he's best through corner number 2. Right now you see he's closing the gap, and he does have a run this time coming down the back straightaway. Lewandowski looks low. He's going to have to move low to block. And Alfala he's going to make it really hard on Alfala, and that lets Gorlinski get a run up on the high side. This is going to be bad.
We're going to come down to 6 laps to go here, and Thomas Lewandowski leads. But how long is Ray Alfala going to let Lewandowski play the blocking game here and maybe start thinking about using that chrome horn, that bumper on the front of the race car? Of course, that's really what they're for, right?
Well, you gotta think too. Alfala's got a lot to think about. Yeah, he wants to win this race, but you know, Lewandowski's willing to throw it all away to win this race. Lewandowski could make it up into the points, into the money spot right now, but he wants that win. He wants to be a winner in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Alfala's already a winner. Alfala's got 10,500 reasons not to take too much of a risk here, but Alfala might want that win also.
Thomas Lewandowski looking to hang on to the victory right here. 4 laps to go as the 2 of Ray Alfala trying to take it away. Here comes Hudson. Hudson drives that car hard in for 3rd. Nothing doing there. John Gordlinski is in this battle as well. Gordlinski runs in 3rd. We're going to put a lap on Dana Weimer in the number 27 here in just a few short moments. 3 laps remaining at the stripe.
When you see 4 cars bunched up like this, that's because the car that's out in front is the slowest of the bunch right now. And Lewandowski, although he's not slow, he's holding these 3 guys up right now. Alfala gets a good run coming off corner number 2. He looks low. Down the back straightaway he comes. He looks to the inside. Gordlinski gets a piece of the wall. Hudson's right there.
Hudson looking to make the move as Ray Alfala looking and focusing on Wrangler. That's all he can see right now. Wrangler on the back of that race car. He wants to put that in his rear view mirror. Sticks are out. 2 laps to go.
This time around, it will be the final lap, the white flag lap, coming down the back straight away. Alfala's not close enough to make a run. They'll have to do it on the last lap if it's going to happen.
And if it's going to happen, we're going to watch it at a corner number 2. That's where Ray Alfala hits his sweet spot. White Silk is out here. 1 lap to go for Thomas Lewandowski. Watch this run by Ray Alfala. What's he going to have here? The number 2 of Alfala falls off the back a little bit. He digs through corner number 2. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Gordlinski gets a piece of the wall. Off corner number 2. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. And Thomas Lewandowski going to come up out of 4, and he will be a winner in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Ray Alfala 2nd. John Gordlinski 3rd. And Tyler Hudson in 4th.
5th is going to be Chris Main across the line. Brian Blackford's going to be 6th. Thomas Hazard gets a nice recovery to finish 7th. Patrick Fogel 8th. Byron Daly, great top 10 in 9th. Derek Wood comes home 10th.
And we have another first-time winner this season in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. He gets some congratulations from his teammates, and Thomas Lewandowski will celebrate here on the front straightaway as a winner in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. So as Thomas Lewandowski makes his way around, he's going to salute Alan Kowicki with the Polish victory lap, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy this as he puts the hammer down. He might do a little bit of a burnout here as well, as he nearly loses control of that car. Don't hit the wall. Oh, mighty, mighty close to that number 16 of Thomas Lewandowski, soaking up the victory here, and as he does so, we're going to step away for just a few moments' time, where we will attempt to catch up with our top 5 finishers from this race. It's the Dover International Speedway post-race show for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, upcoming here next.
iRacing.com is the premier online racing simulation featuring head-to-head competition on your PC. Race from your home PC, competing on the world's best real-world cars and tracks. Thousands of race fans and scores of pro racers like Dale Jr. and Justin Wilson are already racing at iRacing. Experience the thrill of victory yourself and go racing today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Dover International Speedway and the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship round number 15 of 18. You just saw 200 laps of exciting action from the Monster Mile. Thomas Lewandowski, Ray Alfala, John Gorlinski, Tyler Hudson, Chris Main, your top 5 with Brian Blackford, Thomas Hazard, Patrick Fogel, Byron Daly, and Derek Wood, your top 10. As we are going to go down to Victory Lane at Nim Cross, down in Victory Lane with a very jubilant first-time winner in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, Thomas Lewandowski, the Wrangler Chevrolet, down with Nim Cross.
Thomas Lewandowski, first-time NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship winner. How's it feel, Tom?
Wow, my heart's still beating from this one. I didn't really have a very fast car, and I had to do some pit strategy, and I didn't take lefts the whole race. And towards the end there, my left front was giving up pretty bad, and Ray was right on me. And it's been a long time coming, I think, so I was really just trying to hold on for the win there, and it feels great.
Well, it definitely wasn't easy. Alfala right there behind you, your teammate Gorlinski right there, Hudson battling with him. Definitely a great 10 laps there at the end where you're feeling a lot of pressure. Finally got it done though, and this could move you up into the money and the points also. So good productive race here from Dover.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because last week, I said that Dover's one of my favorite tracks, and man, I came here and I really didn't have the speed. I thought my car was just too tight. I made a couple adjustments in the pit stops to loosen it up, and just held on. Man, my heart's still beating from this. I was really pounding those last 10 laps with Ray right on me, and I just knew I had to put in 10 solid laps to get the checkered flag finally.
Yeah, we saw 2 tire stops that you took most of the race. In fact, you said you didn't take left sides all race. Obviously, you got the win, but would you do it any differently?
No, I wouldn't have done it any differently. It was I knew I could make it with the cautions we had. I figured there's going to be a bunch of cautions this race just because how this car comes off the corners. It's kind of strange, and I figured there'd be a lot of cautions, so I was pretty confident I can make it. And when you have the track position, there's nothing beats it. It's really hard to pass.
Thomas, we see you on the track all week long. You're racing a number of different NASCAR series here at iRacing, and you put in a lot of laps. Do you think all those laps and the number of different cars that you race helps you prepare for this type of race?
Most definitely it does. At the beginning of the season, I really kind of strayed away from running the other series, but more recently, the past like 5-6 weeks or so, I started doing a lot of Class A stuff, just trying to get a little bit more of an edge, get some practice, especially with this new tire model. And I think it's been paying off. I was real fast at Atlanta, but I got wrecked. I was pretty decent in Chicagoland, and I got to win here.
Well, fantastic job today, Thomas. Your first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship win. We congratulate you on that. Tell us who makes it happen for you.
All my teammates over at JRM, they really helped me out a lot over there. I got to thank Ray Alfala for running me clean there. I threw some blocks on him, but just trying to get the win. He's been great. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Wrangler, Whiskey River, Tax Slayer. All these guys get me on the track every week. I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting these races for us. Gets us some exposure.
Well, it's a great job, Tom. Again, we congratulate you on your win, and we're going to throw it over to Tim, who's caught up with Ray Alfala.
Ray Alfala's second place finish tonight. What was going through your mind those last few laps trying to battle Thomas Lewandowski? It looked really good coming off turn 2 a few of those times.
Yeah, I knew he hadn't taken lefts, I think, so I knew he was getting tight in the center. But I I got a run off the corner a few times, and he blocked, and I wasn't gonna run into him, and so it's just I was hoping I could get a run in a way where I could just get under him as he was still sliding up the track, but it just never happened, and you just in the position I'm in the championship, you got to be smart there at the end.
And you talk about that position. Good points tonight. It looks like you're going to gain 6 points or so on Thomas Hazard. And Thomas did not lead a lap either, so that's going to help your effect as well. You came in with over 30 points in the lead. You're going to come out with likely around 40 points leading heading into the final 3 races of the season. Are you thinking the cash registers, or can you hear the cash register starting to go off?
I don't know. They're still far in the distance, and this point system, if you're in a crash, you can lose all your point lead in one night. So I don't know. Like I said previous race, I want to keep getting top 5s, and finish the season strong. I don't want to just ride around 12th all the time and win it that way. So I'm just going to keep running up front.
2 weeks' time in Texas. You talked about riding around and getting a top 5 finish. Could we see that Pro Geek Consulting number 2 possibly in Victory Lane in Texas?
I think so. Texas is one of my favorite tracks, as well as Dover was. Anything can happen there. Last year I was fast there, and then wrecked at the end as usual last year. But Texas is cool. I like the track, and definitely looking forward to it.
Before we let you go, who makes it happen for the 2 team?
Pro Geek Consulting, Matt Taylor. He said he wasn't going to be able to watch this race, but I think he'll be pleased with the result. Also got to thank everybody that helped me out, and shout out to Tom for getting his first win, and he finally didn't wreck. How about that? And shout out to Brian Blackford for getting 6th, and I think the save of the year.
And a fantastic save that was by Brian Blackford in the number 33 car. That's Ray Alfala, driver number 2. We're going to go down to Nim, who has caught up with John Gorlinski.
John Gorlinski brings her home in a 3rd place finish tonight. John, you've been doing a great job since the new tire model came out. You've been fast before that, but since the new tire model came out, it really seems to suit your style. Brought her home 3rd tonight. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. I had a pole lap going in qualifying, and I barely nicked the wall and on the front stretch and 0x myself, and ended up starting 36th instead of on the front row. That kind of sucked, and I knew I had a good car going in the race. I just had to figure out a way to get from the back to the front, and I knew I made a setup to keep the left front on it, so I didn't have to change left sides all race, and just kept taking rights every time I came in. That got me some good track position. It got me up to 2nd, and I think there's a stop where just Tom and I took 2, and I just pretty much stayed up front after that. I knew I could hang. It would have been nice to have left sides at the end there, but it's pretty difficult to pass these days, so I'm pumped with 3rd. It feels really good to be running this far up front every week since new tire models come out. I feel like Brad Keselowski going on a tear.
Well, it looks like you were pretty clean through the race, even though there was a lot of action. Was any of the incidents that were out there, any of it close for you?
Yeah, the first one of the race, I don't even know what happened, but I was right up on someone's bumper, and all I saw was smoke, and I cranked it down left real fast, and just missed running into, I think, Charles Cosper, so I'm glad that didn't happen. And then I know when Schoenberg wrecked, I almost hit him. I had a bunch of close calls. I'm just glad I missed them all, because I got to get all the points I can right now if I want to move up anymore.
Well, fantastic job in recent races, especially here today at Dover. Great pit action. We saw good pit action get you up front last race also. Who makes it good for you, and who gets you to the track?
Let's give a shout out to my parents. I'm sure they're watching because they always watch. Wrangler, Junior Motorsports, the Drill Aisle. We've been pumping out some pretty sweet setups these days, and just running really good, looking really good. Whiskey River, Tech Slayers, Swafferman, the one on Spin Master. Just everybody. I'm having a blast these last couple weeks, and it always makes it more fun when you run well.
Outstanding job here at Dover, and bringing her home in a 3rd position. We're going to throw her down to Tim, who's caught up with Tyler Hudson.
Tyler Hudson, driver the number 01. Man, that car was fast at the end.
Yeah, it really was. First of all, I just want to say congrats to Tom. It's been a long time coming. He's ran really well in this series, and it's genuinely good to see him win, and it's great for the series and happy for him. But man, it was a tough race. We worked really hard this whole week, and I knew coming into the race we had a pretty good car, and I'm just glad to have a top 5 finish and make all that hard work pay off.
And it was an eventful night as well. Started in 25th place. You had to pass a lot of cars, and you had to dodge a couple of wrecks to get to this 4th place finish.
Yeah, I'm not a good qualifier at all. If I qualify in the top 30, then I've got a really good race car. So, that's just the way it goes. I've kind of gotten used to driving up, passing a lot of cars and racing around a lot of traffic. But still, you never really get used to it because everybody's so tense when they race and stuff. But I mean, it was a good run. I feel bad for Sheehan there. I was on the outside of him and bobbled just a little bit, and I think we had some net code and got together with him, and feel really bad about that. Just want to send my apologies his way, and yeah.
I'm sure you've been thinking about points a little bit. Looking at drop points coming in, you had Josh Parker, Brian Schoenberg, Josh Berry in front of you. They finished 38th, 39th, and 37th place respectively, back there, way back outside the top 35. What are you thinking now, points coming into the final 3 races?
Well, honestly, I haven't really paid much. I know I hung in the top 5 there for a little while, and then these last 3 races have just been a nightmare, and I've dropped like a rock from like 5th to 9th in points, and I hadn't really looked at the drop week points. I just go by the standings on like NASCAR.com and stuff, and so I think I'm in striking distance, a realistic chance of like a top 5, and that would be awesome. But just to be in the top 10 with this group, I'm pretty content with that, pretty happy with that. But of course you want to do the best you can, but points will take care of themselves.
Now, before we let you go here this evening, who makes it happen for the 01 team?
Well, all the guys at Willman Inc. for sure. They, like I said, they put so many hours in this week, especially Joe Holt and Josh Lawton and Byron Daly, and those guys. We worked really hard, and I mean it's really just all them. That's the only reason I'm up here, and thank those guys. Thank my wife for supporting me and letting me spend so much time practicing on here and all that good stuff. And you guys for the broadcast and iRacing.com and NASCAR and all that. Thank you guys.
And that's Tyler Hudson, driver of the 01, coming home with 4th place this evening. And finishing in the top 5, Nim, Chris Main.
Yep, down here with Chris Main. Brings her home in the 5th position in the PDG car. Had a good run out there today. Chris, tell us about the run.
Yeah, first off, I want to apologize to Josh Berry and Josh Parker, Brad Wright, anybody else that was caught up in the wreck that I caused there about halfway through. I just got real loose on the outside in 3 and 4 and almost lost it, and then I think I barely clipped Josh Berry and caused a huge wreck. So I want to apologize to all those guys and anybody else that was caught up in it. Other than that, I was pretty much running in the top 10 most of the race, all the race, and top 5 here and there when people tried different strategy. And car was pretty good, and I had to do a little bit of defensive driving because you got to here, but the track is really tough. So real happy to get a top 5 and good win to Tom.
Chris, you've been doing really good since the new tire model come out, running really strong this last month. Tell us about how it feels and why your team is doing so well right now.
Honestly, I don't know why we're doing so well. I mean, we aren't really practicing too much. I mean, I think we hit on something the first week at Atlanta, and then we've just been, doing work ever since. And everybody that's with us is a really great driver. Has been a really great driver for some time. So that probably has a lot to do with it. As you can see, Ray's just as strong. He found something that's out there that I don't know, and Tyler's just as strong. He was up there. So people are finding stuff. It's not just us, but I'm glad that we're taking advantage of it, though.
Well, 5th place run the night. Who makes it happen for you?
I gotta thank PDG Management, David Gorlinski, Pat Gorlinski, the whole Gorlinski family. I gotta thank Spin Master, Junior Motorsports, Dale Jr., and everybody at the drill out for their help. And congrats again, Tom. It's a long time coming, and I'm glad he got the win tonight.
That's Chris Main finishing in the 5th spot tonight. We're going to throw it back up to Tim Terry.
Fantastic run by these NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship drivers at the Dover International Speedway. Very exciting race and definitely kept us on the edge of our seats for 200 laps around this 1-mile racetrack. 2 weeks' time, we're back at it at the Texas Motor Speedway. 167 laps at that joint, and then Phoenix and Homestead to close off the season. It's going to go down to the wire. Ray Alfala, Thomas Hazard, and the rest of this field will be looking to gain valuable points on the final 3 races of this 2011 campaign. That's going to do it for us here this evening on iRacing.com and PSR TV. So for the full entire crew, Ilka Hapola, Zach Stanko, Ian Bushing, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, Chuck Johnson, Nim Cross, my name is Tim Terry, saying we'll see you in 2 weeks when we say let's go racing from the Texas Motor Speedway. Keep the hammer down and we'll see you at the track.